Welcome back to Cincinnati. 78 degrees and sunny currently, but the clouds are expected in later, and they are expecting light rain. Adam Vinatieri will kick it away for the Patriots, and back deep for the Bengals. Curtis Keaton, second-year man out of James Madison. And the replacement officials did a good job, guys, with that coin toss.
So far, so good. They're 1 for 1.
Opening day in the National Football League. These two teams met last year at Foxborough with the Patriots winning 16-13. This man, Adam Vinatieri, kicked a 22-yard field goal with 3 seconds remaining to win it for New England. Here we go. We're underway. Keaton, 8 yards deep, will take a knee. So the Bengals will start from their own 20-yard line. John Kitna comes over as a free agent from Seattle as the starting quarterback. What do you see from John Kitna?
Well, guys, what you get with John Kitna is you get some gritty, tough play at quarterback. He's mobile. He came over with Bob Bretkowski, his offensive coordinator in Seattle, so he's well aware of his passing offense, and he right now is a stable presence at that quarterback position for the Cincinnati Bengals.
In his 5th year, 18 and 15 as a starting quarterback. First down and 10 from the 20. Dillon, the deep back. Lorenzo Neal, the up back. Here's Corey Dillon straight ahead with running room. Spins and gets up to the 30-yard line, close to a first down. Matt Stevens with the tackle. Offensively for the Cincinnati Bengals, they pride themselves on running the football. Richmond Webb comes over from Miami. He's a veteran. O'Dwyer, Bram, Goff, and Willie Anderson at right tackle. The backs and receivers, Corey Dillon, one of the best in the business. Now he has a great blocking back in Lorenzo Neal, who comes over from Tennessee. And the offensive coordinator from Seattle, Bob Bretkowski. Second down and 1. Here's Kitna, throws it out of the backfield, finds Dillon with the first down, gets over the 35 to the 37. Teddy Bruschi with the tackle, but it's a gain of 8. Defensively for the New England Patriots, some changes on the defensive line. Roman Pfeiffer starts at right end. Willie McGinnis didn't play much of the preseason, so he will be coming off the bench. Mike Vrabel is the left linebacker. Cox and Bruschi. Meanwhile, Otis Smith and Ty Law in the secondary with Malloy and Matt Stevens at the safety positions. And Romeo Crennel is the defensive coordinator. First down and 10 from the 37-yard line for the Bengals. Their opening drive. Dillon over the left side, keeps his feet going, lowers his shoulder, and gets to the 45-yard line.
Watch Richmond, Webb, and Matt O'Dwyer on the left side. These are men. There's third time they've gotten the ball into the hands of Corey Dillon. Every time they do it, they're making yards.
And did you see Corey Dillon take Matt Stevens for a ride, put his head down, and the safety went flying back about 3 or 4 yards there? And that is some power and strength. And that's what you get with Corey Dillon, Coach.
Another spread formation. They're widening it, spreading out the defense.
Second down and short. They need 2 yards from the 45. Here's the draw play. Dillon again. Dillon has been successful running the football. Anthony Pleasant, 12-year veteran, making the tackle for the Patriots. And so far, Dillon, 3 carries, 17 yards.
You know what I like about that, Gus? Not only the carries, but he caught the ball in the flat. They didn't use Corey Dillon in the passing game much at all last year. Now, there's a weapon. You get him out in the flat, one-on-one with a linebacker, he can make people miss. Get him the ball as many times in as many ways as you can.
Of course, they're taking him out here on 3rd and short. Told us yesterday he'd be in the lineup on 3rd down most of the day.
Brandon Bennett is the backup to Corey Dillon. Getting a short drop, tipped at the line of scrimmage, incomplete. Bobby Hamilton gets a hand on the football, and the Cincinnati drive stalls at the 45-yard line. That'll bring in Nick Harris to punt it away.
Some of the fans thought that was interference with, by Ty Law, but once that ball's tipped, there's no interference.
So Nick Harris, rookie out of Cal, ready to kick it away. Troy Brown, the dangerous receiver and return man, stands at the 10-yard line. Good snap. Wobbly kick, Harris. And it's fair caught by Brown at the 20-yard line, a 34-yard punt. So coming up, it'll be Drew Bledsoe and the Patriots on offense. Bengals coming up empty on offense, and now New England will get an opportunity. Bill Belichick, second year as the head coach in New England, and in 2 years, he's almost entirely revamped the lineup, 38 new players. And his team starts from their own 21-yard line. Drew Bledsoe with Mark Edwards and Antoine Smith behind him. Quick strike. Bert Emanuel with the reception, spins, picks up maybe a yard and a half. Tackle on the play made by Artrell Hawkins. Drew Bledsoe, three-time Pro Bowler, and Coach Weiss, he is a player.
He is, and Brent and I were just talking, what a mature guy he has become. He's only 29 years old. Been the starter for this ball club for 9 years. Only Brett Favre has started for a team longer than that. But he has taken over the leadership role, one of the captains on this football team. Quick arm, good feet, a lot of size.
Signed a multi-year, multi-million-dollar contract that should keep him a Patriot through the end of his career. Second down and 9 from the 22. Bledsoe out of the shotgun. Nice snap. Here's the handoff going to Antoine Smith over the left side. No room for him. Takeo spikes with the tackle offensively for the New England Patriots. Grant Williams starts at left tackle. They thought Matt Light would be the starter, the rookie out of Purdue, but they go with the veteran on opening day. Backs and receivers, Antoine Smith with Buffalo the last few years. Mark Edwards with Cleveland last year. Brown and Emanuel. Rod Rutledge is the tight end. Charlie Weiss is the offensive coordinator for the Patriots. Third down and 8 from the 23-yard line. Split backfield. Bledsoe to pass. In trouble. Bledsoe goes down at the 19. Darrell Williams, backup safety, shot the gap and made the sack. Vaughn Booker with pressure as well.
Now, Gus, there's been a lot of talk about this Patriots offensive line, but that was a coverage sack. Third down. You've got to go ahead and get rid of the ball. You know the blitz is coming. Here come the Bengals. Bledsoe knows he's got to get rid of that ball on the first pitch, or there's going to be problems.
And the Bengals excited about their defensive line. They only had 26 sacks last year, had 15 in the preseason. Here's Lee Johnson, sends it away. Peter Warrick at the 34 makes the first man miss. Warrick in the center of the field, still making people miss. Gets inside New England territory, but flags are all over the field. Matt Stevens with the special teams tackle, and it's a 45-yard punt.
Teddy Bruschi's over there telling the Cincinnati Bengals, hey, you clipped us, you held us, you did everything. This one's got a little bit of a grudge match going in this thing. Right? Both ball clubs coming off of subpar years need to get going fast.
Now, Lee Johnson punted that ball. He needed, holding the call against the Bengals, he needed 43 yards to become the all-time leader in punting yardage in the National Football League. Ron Stark was number 1. And that was a 45-yard punt, so it looks like Lee will have the record.
Hey, party time.
Party time.
There you go. Coach, that was one of your punters.
Excellent.
With a return, illegal block in the back. Return team. 10 yards, spotted a foul. It'll be first down.
I drafted Lee Johnson out of BYU in 1988, Super Bowl year.
17 years later, he's the all-time leader. Back to Cincinnati after this.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, celebrating 30 years of freedom, 30 years, one mission, low fares. IBM, taking e-business and your business to the next level. And by Saturn, now with 2 distinctively different car lines, the L Series and S Series.
Welcome back to Cincinnati. It's been raining off and on all day, but the sun has come out for the beginning of this football game. The Bengals have it at their own 28, first down. Marco Battaglia in motion. Here's Kitna going up top. He's got Darnay Scott, but overthrows him.
When Lee Johnson first came into this league in 1988, he started trying to sell me stocks and bonds right away.
He told me on the sidelines that he sold you a stock. He said a tank.
He did. Yeah, it's going to the tank with the rest of the market. Chances of me recovering, the market's going to get up over 10,000 again. Look at those numbers, though. I mean, you've got to be around a lot of teams that need to punt a lot in order to get those numbers.
Coach, I figured it out. Over 28 miles of punting yardage.
Long walks.
Second down and 10. Here's Dillon running. Gets a couple of yards in the box on the upper right-hand part of your screen. Those are current scores in the National Football League. Trying to keep you up to date on what's going on around the league. We call it the shadow box.
And we saw this Cincinnati team go deep for Darnay Scott here a couple plays ago, and that's something they didn't do a lot of last year. They got to take some shots down the field. You can't hit them all, but you know they want to get the ball in Scott's hands.
Third down 7 from the 31. Cincinnati needs to go to the 38-yard line for a first down. Kitna throwing a strike underneath. Caught by Darnay Scott. He gets to midfield. It's a gain of 19 yards.
Terrific protection. Blitz in the inside. The Bengals picked it all up. Watch coming to the inside. You're going to get a twist. Coming to the inside. Everybody's picking up. You can get a back out of there.
Yep. And when you get time, you get a deep over route. The quarterback and the receiver are going to usually win because that's just tough to cover when you're 18 yards downfield.
There's no underneath help.
That's exactly it, Coach.
Darnay Scott missed all of last year after injuring himself during training camp, but he is back and 100%. Kitna again firing underneath. It's caught at the 40. Darnay Scott still running. Makes another man miss and gets to the 30-yard line. So Bucky Jones with the tackle. Back-to-back gains of 19 yards.
You're going to watch Darnay Scott go one-on-one with Otis Smith. Give him a little head and shoulder outside. Come back underneath on the slant. Ball's thrown a little high. Hangs onto it. And look at him bounce off. You think that leg is healed up? It looks like it's healed up to me.
Corey Dillon trying to break it back, spins, and is taken down by Bobby Hamilton. Darnay Scott broke his leg. Doesn't look like his leg is injured at all now, Coach Weiss.
I don't think so either. You know, the one thing about this ball club, though, the trend is already set. Keep giving the ball to Corey Dillon. Throw him a little wide flare, left side, right side. He bounces outside as well as he runs inside. They told us yesterday he was the fastest guy on the football team. He's your running back.
Dillon out of the game right now. Brandon Bennett in to give him a rest. Dillon so far 5 carries, 22 yards. Second down and 8 from the New England 29. Kitna throws the out pattern, caught by Ron Dugans, who cradles it and slides out of bounds.
They're spreading it around, Brent. They're not just throwing, trying to find Darnay Scott or Peter Warwick. They're getting the ball to a lot of people.
And you know, Coach, it's nice to get Warwick involved, but I think Darnay Scott, after coming back from that broken leg, they want to get him some touches early, get that confidence going. And right now, he's not even thinking about the leg. He's thinking about beating Otis Smith deep.
And it's over the arc so far. Here's Kitna, loses the ball. John Kitna fumbles, and let's see who has it. New England says they have it. Kitna fumbled the ball 17 times last year for the Seattle Seahawks, and that's the first of the season.
Now, it looked like up here, Coach, the ball just slid out of his hands. It's a little humid up there. Maybe it got hit. You can see him re-gripping it right there, and it does slide right out of his hands. He didn't have that grip right away, trying to adjust the ball.
Roman Pfeiffer to recover. No score, 6:39 to go, first quarter of play. We get our first turnover of the game. John Kitna fumbling. Drew Bledsoe taking over. That ball tipped at the line of scrimmage. Looks like Vaughn Booker got a hand on it.
And let's look at that last play. Watch the second step here. Watch John Kitna rotate the ball all the way around. Right there, all the way around, trying to find the laces. It's humid, it's sweaty out there. His sweat's coming down his wrist, and you see him trying to re-grip, and the ball slides right out of his hands.
Usually you just rotate on the axis. You don't turn it that way.
Second down 10. Edwards, Antoine Smith in the backfield for Bledsoe. Second man through is Antoine Smith trying to get outside. Lowers his shoulder, and Antoine Smith goes out at the 33-yard line. Meanwhile, let's take a look at the Bengals defense. Up front, they're getting more and more aggressive. Vaughn Booker, Oliver Gibson, the former Steeler, Tony Williams playing with a broken finger, and Renard Wilson. The linebackers all in their 4th year, all very quick. Foley, Simmons, and Takeo Spikes. And in the secondary, where they are a little vulnerable, Heath, Hawkins, the corners, Hall, Carter, the safeties, Mark Duffner, former head coach at the University of Maryland, and Holy Cross is the defensive coordinator. 3rd down and 8 from the 34. Bledsoe rolling out of the pocket. Bledsoe with room, looking for the first down, dives, and let's see. Was his knee on the ground?
You know what, Gus? That is exactly right. His knee wasn't on the ground. You're going to see his body land and bounce off and go forward, and they're going to give him the mark, and I think he's going to get the first down.
Well, he should get as far as he can go until something other than his hand touches the ground. Hand or feet, obviously.
Now look at him get airborne, and he bounces and rolls back over and gets the first down. That's some savvy.
This is actually good officiating. We haven't talked about it yet, but the officials here, replacement officials, and they got that one right on the money.
8-yard gain. First down for the Patriots from their own 42. And a whistle.
Trick play. Dick LeBeau, he's my defensive coordinator for 8 years, a terrific coach, motivator. Players love him. Of course, he played in Detroit for years. He knows how the players feel.
And you think he was on the button, Coach? You think he's challenging that spot?
He may be. And what he's going to do, he's going to ask the official some questions to find out if it's worth it. You know, you don't want to waste some time out.
Well, especially with the new officials, you want to let them know that they're not going to just get away with every call. You got to at least stay on top of them and work the officials. Now, the veteran referees wouldn't fall for that trick. They've all been around.
And guys, talk about the officiating situation and give us your opinions.
Well, one thing they're calling fewer penalties. I think that's actually good for the game. Let them play a little bit. These officials, though, many of whom are going to be NFL officials or would-be NFL officials in the future anyway. So these are not guys just off the street. They're Arena Football League, European Football League, major college. They've been out there a lot with some good football players.
The referee today, John Smith from Virginia State.
The play was
And another look, Bledsoe diving ahead.
Well, you don't want Drew Bledsoe, your quarterback in the second series of the game, going full-out extension. And it's great they rolled the pocket. It's great they moved it. He was going for the first down, and I think that just shows the competitor that Drew is. But man, you got to be a little concerned when you're Bill Belichick, and there goes your quarterback.
It is. That's absolutely right. But the rule is, as far as he can go, he can roll over a lot of defensive players until his knee or any other part of his body other than his hands or his feet touch the ground.
First down and 10 from the 42 for the Patriots. Here's Antoine Smith running over the right side. Vaughn Booker there to stop him. Log on to NFL.com for real-time scoring, up-to-the-minute stats, and live play-by-play only at NFL.com or AOL, keyword NFL.com. Patriots 5-11 last season. They have the 5th place schedule. Great opportunities. They open up, though, with 2 games on the road before going home. Carolina next week. Here's the pitch. Smith stops, starts, gets going forward, and close to midfield. Corey Hall, the safety, with the tackle. It's a gain of 4.
And we've seen Antoine Smith outside a few times. His strength over the years has been running inside between the tackles. You see the pitch right here going to the right. Watch the little juke move that he gives to a little inside to go outside. Frees the linebacker right there. Bang. Jumps right around Brian Simmons. Nice move by Antoine Smith.
I'll tell you what, Brian Simmons is not an easy guy to make freeze out there. He is one of the fastest linebackers in the National Football League.
3rd down and 5 from the 47-yard line. They need to get to the Cincinnati 48 for first down.
Here comes the finger pointing. He moved first.
That's right.
You did that, Brent.
I think it was the Bengals. I think Drew Bledsoe on the hard count, and that's what you got to look for. 3rd and 5 or less, you got to give your guys a crack at it. See if you can get those guys, those anxious young guys of the Bengals, to jump off sides.
dead ball, false start, 6-3.
I'm wrong.
Penalty remains.
Unbelievably wrong.
Yeah.
Joe Andruzzi, the right guard. Tuesday on CBS, after 3 months of conniving, lying, and cheating, the Big Brother game is hotter than ever. 9 house guests have been eliminated. 3 remain. But who will walk away with a cool $500,000? Don't miss an all-new Big Brother Tuesday on CBS. So
I thought you were talking about us for a minute there.
Never, never, never. 3rd down and 10 from the 42-yard line. And number 77 this time moves. It's Mike Compton, the left guard.
And you can bet Drew Bledsoe is trying to work a hard count to draw the opposition off. Mike Compton's first year with the ball club, he was a center with the Detroit Lions last year.
So it remains 3rd down and 15 now, and the Patriots have to go to the Cincinnati 48-yard line for a 1st down.
You know, going back to Compton, you're used to bringing that ball up. You really concentrate on the count. A guard sometimes just moves on motion.
J.R. Redmond in the backfield for the Pats. Ron Rutledge goes in motion. Play action. Bledsoe sets up. Fires to the sideline. Caught. Bert Emanuel cradles the football and picks up a 1st down. Nicely done for the Patriots.
And you see when Drew Bledsoe has time, he can just gash you. And Bert Emanuel runs what we call a comeback route. Does a great job getting downfield. Watch Drew stand, good protection in the pocket, step up, and Emanuel coming right back down the line, knowing where that 1st down marker is. And let's watch Drew's reaction. Here we go. We'll take it. Move the chains.
And he went right up to Tom Carter. He's their nickel back. He's the 5th back in the ballgame on passing downs.
Here's Bledsoe to pass again. This time on 1st down. Dumps it over the middle. And it is caught. Charles Johnson with the reception. Johnson played for Philadelphia last year. Released by the Eagles. Hawkins with the stop.
And we talked to Drew Bledsoe about his receivers and about missing Terry Glenn, who's out and has had a suspension and has been out for the year as well. And he said he feels so much more comfortable with his receiving crew this year. It's a huge difference. He wouldn't have felt that way last year losing Terry Glenn. But he said this year, got some veterans and guys who know how to make it happen.
3-receiver package, including the tight end. Here's the handoff going to Antoine Smith back into the game. And back to Terry Glenn, the prolific New England receiver. He was suspended by the league for 4 games for violating the substance abuse policy. Still could have come to training camp. However, he chose not to come to training camp. So inevitably, Bill Belichick had to make a decision for the sake of the team, and he suspended Glenn for the entire year.
And that went to arbitration, and Bill Belichick, when we asked about it yesterday, said the arbitrator gave us explicit orders, no comment.
That's perfect for Coach Belichick because he don't like to talk a lot anyway, especially to us. Here's Bledsoe dumping it over the middle. Troy Brown with the catch, gets his shoulder square all the way down inside the Cincinnati 15-yard line. Chris Carter with the tackle.
Let me tell you, Troy Brown has been with Drew Bledsoe for 9 years. When it's a clutch down, that's a guy I'd have 2 people on it.
And Coach, 3rd down, you expect some type of blitz. You're going to get him running a drag route right across the linebackers. He runs right by Brian Simmons. Simmons got to step up and pop him. He didn't see Troy Brown coming across, and Brown gets that ball, goes right by him, gets his shoulder square, like Gus said, and gets some big yards after the catch.
Troy Brown coming off career highs in 2,083 catches for 944 yards. 10th play of the drive that started at the New England 32. Antoine Smith running over the left side, and he's met by a number of white jerseys. Takeo Spikes leading the way.
And, Coach, this is where the Patriots have to be better this year in the red zone. I thought they were anemic last year, and I think that really hurt their team. They couldn't convert. They need to get points. They need to get touchdowns. Too many times they settle for field goals, and you think Drew Bledsoe misses the old big tight end Ben Coates in this area?
Well, I think
Are you going to leave anything for him to say? I mean, he said everything.
No, you know what? Ben Coates was the key to everything you just said. You can erase everything. He was his security blanket. This year it's Mark Edwards. Mark Edwards, by the way, let's throw this one in. Bought 200 tickets for this game. He grew up, went to high school right here in Cincinnati.
And that's the end of the first quarter of play. New England knocking on the door here in Cincinnati.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Budweiser, with a crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. And by America Online. So easy to use, no wonder it's #1. There's never been a better time to get online.
Welcome back to Cincinnati. No score as we begin the second quarter of play. Gus Johnson along with Brent Jones and Sam Wyshing. Fellas, so far it seems like both teams are able to move the football.
Well, in the way we thought they'd do it. Corey Dillon for the Bengals, and they're throwing the ball for the Patriots.
New England inside the 15-yard line. Bledsoe to the end zone. Touchdown, Troy Brown. And the Patriots are on the board.
And the Patriots have had some success running Antoine Smith inside. Watch the play action. Get those linebackers, the safeties to suck up. Watch Corey Hall. You see him jump on the play action fake. There's Troy Brown sneaking right behind him. That's what you want. That's what the running game does for you. It allows you to use your play action.
Troy Brown, first touchdown of the year for the Patriots. Extra point is up, and it is good. 11-play drive covering 68 yards. They ate up close to 7 minutes. New England by 7. 7-0 New England. On the Troy Brown 14-yard touchdown from Drew Bledsoe. Had 4 touchdowns last year, so he's off to a good start with his first of the season. Adam Vinatieri will kick it away for the Patriots, and back deep, Curtis Keaton standing at his own goal line. Keaton replacing Tremaine Mack, who was a Pro Bowler here in Cincinnati as a kick return man. But they felt that he'd lost it, and they decided to give Keaton an opportunity.
And one thing you got to watch out with a young kick returner, trying to make too many things happen and losing control of that ball.
Towards the sideline, start from the 5-yard line. Keaton up the right side, cuts it across the field with room. Here's Keaton with the blocker. Keaton to the outside. Keaton down the sideline, out of bounds at the 30. Maybe they made the right decision. Leonard Myers gets him, a gain of 64.
Now, you know what's unique about Keaton's return? Watch when he gets upfield about the 25. Instead of going out of bounds right there, 1 yard to go, he cuts it all the way across field. Most returners would have just put their shoulder down and gone out of bounds. Has a line of blockers down the field. You see them go to strip the ball, covers it up.
A lot of kickoff returners close their eyes when they get about 6 guys around them like that. They got good reason to. He didn't. He kept his eyes open, found the other hole.
Cincinnati starts at the New England 30-yard line. Peter Warrick in motion. Here's the handoff to Dillon over the left side, and Dillon powers forward, gets to the 25. Tackle on the play made by Ty Law.
They were looking for man-to-man coverage and had a zone, so they didn't have quite enough blockers for Dillon on the left side.
Coach, we talked about the play action on the Patriots touchdown. This Cincinnati team should have the best play action game in the NFL with Corey Dillon back there. Boy, did you hang on to those fakes? You should get linebackers and safeties sucking up all day.
You bet.
Dillon, 6 carries, 26 yards, gained 4 in the last play. Getting to the pass, finds Dillon in the flats. Dillon skipping forward, spins. Taken down at the 23 by Brian Cox. Coming up on the Nextel halftime report, join Jim, Mike, Randy, and Jerry for all the scores and highlights, plus a preview of the U.S. Open men's final between 4th-seeded Leighton Hewitt and 10th-seeded Pete Sampras. That's coming up on the Nextel halftime report.
Well, I'm pulling for Pete Sampras, I don't mind telling you.
No question.
He was living in Tampa when I was coaching down there. That was before I got fired.
3rd down and 3 from the 23. They need to go to the 20. Here's the pitch to Dillon. Dillon stringing it out, turns the corner. Depends on the spot. I believe he's a couple of inches short. Roman Pfeiffer keeping him from that first down.
When you toss the ball, you got to make sure your tackle gets out. Watch Willie Anderson. He gets bumped off, and he's trailing Corey Dillon. You got to have your lead blocker out there. He just had some penetration concentration, got knocked off, and Dillon was in front of him, had nobody to block for him.
And the fans want him to go for it. Dick LeBeau, celebrating his 64th birthday today, decides to go for it.
10 seconds left on the clock. They may end up calling timeout right here.
Kitna at the line, 3 seconds, and he does call a timeout. Great recognition, Coach Weish. You may have a future in this game. Back in a moment. Seven to nothing, New England. 4th down and 1. Dick LeBeau decides to go for it.
I love that. You got to change the mentality here in Cincinnati. Sooner or later, that's his biggest challenge. Not physical on the field, but the mentality.
He's got a great running back who lines up. Marco Battaglia in motion. Corey Dillon over the right side. First down.
Matt O'Dwyer coming around. This offensive guard's going to come right around here and watch him pull. He makes a key block just enough. Dillon's got one guy to beat. He's got to beat him on his own, and he's good enough to do it.
Teddy Bruschi had an opportunity to get to Dillon, but he couldn't bring him down. First down from the 18. Kitna looking in the end zone, incomplete. No flags on the play. Darnay Scott, the intended receiver. Kitna under some pressure.
And Roman Pfeiffer, the old Jets linebacker, coming through on a cross route. Watch him coming right up the gut inside. Gets right in John Kitna's face. Takes a shot to the head.
Roman Pfeiffer and Willie McGinnis, number 55 there, usually play the same position, but they're getting them both in there for pass rush purposes. Unusual on 1st and 10 with a running team.
Anthony Pleasant off the bench into the game for New England. So it's 2nd down and 10 from the 18-yard line. Cincinnati in the red zone last year, 29th in the NFL. Neal and Dillon in the backfield.
I think that red zone statistic is as good an indication of whether you're a winner or loser as any stat that goes.
Kitna, Dillon looking, picking inside the 15. Down to about the 12-yard line. Anthony Pleasant there to trip him up.
And you saw John Kitna audible at the line of scrimmage, and it's funny, he was talking to us yesterday about audibling to a run, and usually he pats his backside one way or another to let the running back know which way. He said the first time he did it, Corey Dillon came up to him and said, I don't need that. I know all the fronts. I know all the defenses. We know the running game here in Cincinnati.
Leave me alone. Just give me the ball.
3rd down and 4. From the 12, they need to go to the 8 for a first down. Kitna to pass. Kitna in trouble to the sideline, intended for Tony McGee, incomplete.
Boy, how Richmond Webb got away with a hold, I'll never know on that one, because not only did he hold one guy, he held 2 guys. I guess you get bonus points or something.
And that was a pretty darn good throw for getting out of the pocket and getting pressure. Usually Tony McGee makes that grab.
Here comes the hole right now. You'll see it right there.
Oh, yeah, that is good.
Hold on. There's another guy coming. Oh, that arm around him.
Double hold.
Brings on Neil Rackers to attempt a 32-yard field goal. He was 12 of 21 last year for the Bengals in his 2nd season out of Illinois. Flags on the play.
It's illegal motion by the Bengals, so they wouldn't stop the call.
Yeah, we had some movement over on the left side, I think.
And it will go against Cincinnati.
How about these referees now? They got to be a little nervous in doing this first ball game, but they're doing a good job.
Just remember, you can't make bad calls if you don't make a lot of calls.
That is true.
Your percentage goes up. That's right. I thought about that.
And I think, the players love that.
I think they do. I really think the fans like it. It keeps the tempo of the game going.
Rackers pushed back 5 yards. This at 37-yard attempt. Nick Harris, the holder. It's down and up and good. But a flag is on the play at the 20-yard line.
Gus, I think we've got the same thing. When the holder goes to look, and And it might actually be against the Patriots, but it looked like there was a delay in the snap there.
Offside. It's your defense. Penalties decline. Field goal. Good.
So the Bengals get on the board. 7-3 our score. Close ball game here in the first half of play. 7-3, New England on top of Cincinnati. Now, which AFC team will have the most regular season wins in 2001? Guys, I ask you the question. Miami, Indianapolis, Baltimore, Tennessee, Denver, or Oakland? Or choose another team. Just log on and cast your vote at NFL.com. We'll get our experts' answer after this. J.R. Redmond 5 yards into the end zone, and he decides to take a knee. So a commercial coming up right now with the score 7-3, New England with the ball and the lead.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Original Coolers. Nothing beats an original. Genuity, delivering BlackRock, the e-business network platform. On the web at genuity.com. And by the 2002 Pontiac Bonneville, luxury with attitude.
Welcome back to Cincinnati, 7-3. The Patriots lead the Bengals. Okay, guys, who do you think? Which AFC team will have the most wins?
Well, Sam's going with the Indianapolis Colts. They've been close enough. Peyton Manning is a terrific quarterback.
Well, I'm going to go with the team with the D, Denver.
Oh, that's a good reason to go for it.
Well, it might have been subliminal when you talk about D.
Hey, don't ever use the word subliminal in front of me again.
Mark Edwards, excuse me. Yeah, Mark Edwards with the handoff goes forward, gets to the 25-yard line, picks up 5 yards on the play. And Drew Bledsoe was really excited when we talked about Edwards yesterday.
You know, I played with Mark Edwards in San Francisco, came over from Cleveland, one of the few bright spots in Cleveland. There's not a whole lot if you've watched the Browns. But he's a great receiver out of the backfield, good locker room guy, good leader. The Browns had no idea how to use him. He's going to be instrumental, I think, in this Patriots offense.
2nd and 5 from the 25. Antoine Smith straight ahead with a big gap over the left side. Gets up to the 36-yard line, a gain of 11. Now Saturday, the Home Depot SEC football on CBS gets off with a bang when John Henderson and the Tennessee Vols get after Jabbar Gaffney and the Florida Gators. The excitement begins with Tim Brando and Spencer Tillman on Papa John's College Football Today. For more college football news, go to cbs.sportsline.com. AOL keyword CBS Sportsline. So far, Antoine Smith, 7 carries, 24 yards. They give it to him again, and Smith carrying the mail gets over the 40 up to the 43. Bernard Whittington, the former Colt, with the tackle, but after a gain of 6 yards.
And Coach, I think Antoine Smith in top form is what this Patriots team needs. They need a go-to back. He told us that the things in Buffalo just didn't quite work out, kind of like a bad marriage, but he feels like he's going to get 20 carries a game here and make something happen.
A bad marriage, but he should have got most of the settlement because he's a good player.
Mark Edwards makes something out of nothing and gets a first down. Edwards, as you mentioned, Coach, from Cincinnati, and he has a whole bunch of friends and family at this game.
Well, he's the new security blanket that Ben Coates once was for Drew Bledsoe. He's made terrific blocks. They're using 3 wide receivers and Mark Edwards as basically the tight end or the lead blocker.
Picks up the first down from the 47-yard line. Antoine Smith, the deep back. Edwards, the up back.
No tight end in the game.
Play action. Bledsoe steps up, firing, looking. David Patton, quick hit at the 20.
Patton got away with offensive interference.
A 32-yard gain. Rodney Heath with the tackle.
And watch Drew Bledsoe get pressure outside, step up in the pocket, and put the ball right on the line. And, Coach, I think you're right. You see him just a little push off there, right at the tail end, David Patton. Just a little push right there in the numbers.
Beautiful touch throwing over a defender. You know, anytime a defender's between the quarterback and the receiver, you've got to throw it obviously high enough to clear him and let the receiver run under it.
Good point, Coach. First down and 10 from the 21. Smith, the single setback. Short drop. Bledsoe decides to tuck it and run.
Busted play.
Absolutely. You don't want Drew Bledsoe running the option, Coach. You saw him Gus set his feet, and something happened. There was miscommunication outside, set his feet to throw that two-step drop. Nobody was there, and he just took off with the ball. And once again, you don't want your quarterback breaking the pocket.
Well, I guarantee if it was an option, Charlie Wise is being talked to right now. He's the offensive coordinator. They won't do that. But if somebody forgot to run around, it was going to be a quick slant or a quick out.
Drew Bledsoe has thrown for over 3,000 yards, 7 consecutive seasons. Second down and 9.
3 wide receivers again and 2 backs.
Here's Bledsoe looking at Bledsoe. Sacked by Raynard Wilson. Second sack of the day for the Bengals.
Greg Robinson Randall just got beat on the first step. Didn't have the angle at all. Right in his face, you see number 64, Robinson Randall. What does a guy have 2 names for, by the way? What does that mean?
You know, I don't know, but better say one thing. When the guy gets around you that quick, you better be 2 words better say to your quarterback.
Look. Ow. That's a 2.
Jeez.
Well, he adopted his father's name, Coach. Father passed away.
Oh, is that it?
Man, exactly.
I didn't know that.
Third down and 11 from the 22. They need to go to the 11 for the first down, and they won't get it.
Pass quick, get pass quick. I'm ready. Give it to me, give it to me. Get excited. Get excited. Get excited. Get excited. Give it to me, give it. 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 Give it up. Give it up. Give it up. You know you're gonna give it to me. Give it up. Give it up. Give it up. Give it to me, give it to me.
10-3, New England leads Cincinnati. Gus Johnson along with Brett Jones and Sam Wyche. And guys, what are your impressions of this game so far?
Well, I think you have to be impressed with both teams. Both teams in the years prior, more sloppy football. They played well together. You see the offensive line for the Patriots giving Drew Bledsoe some time. You see the Bengals running the ball, being aggressive. It seems like both these teams are on the right track at the beginning of this year.
They're clearly better than they were a year ago, both of them.
Keaton fields it at the 11-yard line at a 64-yard return on his last attempt, and he is pulled down at the 29. Don't forget, coming up next, it's the men's championship at the U.S. Open. Leighton Hewitt, seeded number 4, against the great Pete Sampras, seeded number 10. And you had an opportunity to see one of the great matches of the year.
One of the great benefits of working for CBS. Went to Sampras Agassi the other night, and I was just so impressed with the intensity of both of those guys. And I'm a tennis fan now. I'm watching Pete Sampras today.
First down and 10 from the 29. Dillon over the right side, lowers his head, gets to the 30. First man there, Anthony Pleasant for the Patriots. But I tell you what, and I'll ask you, Brent, because you won't be criticized for being partial. This Bengals team looks a lot better. They really look energetic. It looks like there's more of a team here.
You know, I think that you can just feel it in the locker room. And we went out to practice on Friday, and we saw the urgency in which they practiced. The Bengals in years past would stand around on Fridays. There'd be loafing to drills and what have you. This team was bouncing. Dick LeBeau had these guys ready to go. You practice like a champion, you play like a champion.
Second down and 8 from the 31. Draw play. Corey Dillon with room. Bounces it outside. He's got to beat Otis Smith to the corner. Gets down the sideline and is down at the 25-yard line. Corey Dillon stopped by Smith after a gain of 40 yards.
Watch Lawyer Malloy blitz from the end zone, and he's going to run right by Corey Dillon. Bang, there he goes, number 36. A lot of of times in your running game, you've got one guy that can't be blocked because the quarterback's useless. He's just handing the ball off, of course, the runner. So it's 11 against 9. One guy, the runner has to make stop. That's 11 carries for 78 yards for Corey Dillon already today.
First down from the 29 to the sideline. Warwick turns, gets close to the first down. He'll be about a half-yard short. Ty Law there to make the stop. But this Cincinnati team, they're starting to get a little rhythm here as he picks up 9 yards.
You know, we haven't mentioned this, but John Kitna has helped this football team.
Certainly has.
You can see the confidence in the ball club. They're still doing the same things, but they're doing it with a guy they look like they believe in more now.
Yeah, he just has to manage this offense, very similar to what Trent Dilfer did last year with the Ravens team. Don't try to play out of your strength.
Second down and 1. This time it's Bennett over the right side, picks up the first down, gets to the 15. Lawyer Malloy with the tackle. 3 minutes and 44 seconds remaining here in the second quarter of play. New England leads at 10-3, but Cincinnati driving.
It's Lawyer Malloy down on the field. He had Big Willie Anderson and Mike Goff coming right at him with that run.
So Malloy being tended to. We'll be back right after this message.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Staples. Staples has everything you need for your business at great low prices. And by BF Goodrich Tires. Take control.
Well, guys, a couple of 36s online for a big collision. Brandon Bennett, 5'11", 220. Watch him deliver the blow to Lawyer Malloy. And Lawyer Malloy, coach, usually isn't on the receiving end of a whole lot of hits.
I tell you what, he's more of a linebacker than he is a safety. Big, tough guy.
First down and 10 from the 15 for the Bengals. Corey Dillon spinning. Corey Dillon hit on that play by Roman Pfeiffer. Also, Jay Saylor in on the tackle.
Part of the reason they spread everybody out, trying to find out if the Patriots are going to run zone or man. They ran a man-to-man coverage that time. Of course, the Bengals ran the ball, but in the passing game now, they're looking for a man-to-man type pattern. It usually means crossing patterns or patterns on the move, no hooks or stop patterns.
Play action, Kitna rolling, finds Warwick. Nice one-hand catch out of bounds at the 4. And it could be a first down. Ty Law to push him out of bounds. A gain of 8, though. An acrobatic grab made by the second-year player out of Florida State.
You're going to see this play action take the flow away. Watch Peter Warwick, little like he's a run route. Come back in, cut it right back outside. One-handed grab. Nice job. Little misdirection play by the Bengals.
Ty Law headed man-to-man, and he thought he was going all the way across, so he jumped in front of him. And when Peter Warwick planted and came back out, wide open on the play action.
Warwick 7 touchdowns last year, 4 receiving. First and goal from the 5. Dillon on the delayed handoff. Touchdown, Cincy.
Watch Mike Goff right there. Look at that. That's a big hole now. And then coming around is Richmond Webb. The offensive line of the Bengals are getting movement.
Rackers in to attempt the extra point. It's up and good. 2 minutes and 16 seconds remaining here in the second quarter, and the Bengals are in business. Corey Dillon with the rushing touchdown ties the game up at 10 apiece with 2:16 to go. Dillon, 4 carries, 50 yards on the drive alone. Rackers sends it away. J.R. Redmond from the goal line. Redmond up to the 30-yard line, make it the 31. Tonight on CBS, if you or anyone you know missed any part of The Amazing Race, here's your chance to see it tonight. After 60 minutes, and catch an all-new episode on Wednesday at 9, 8 Central. The Amazing Race tonight after 60 minutes on CBS.
So that's not a 40-yard dash there, really.
I don't think so. I think they're going around the world. So New England with the football at the 30. 2:06 to go. Mike Compton is in at center. They're in the shotgun. Bledsoe, quick strike. Bert Emanuel with the catch. Gets to the 35 where he's met by Artrell Hawkins. Takeo spikes. And that takes us to the 2-minute warning with the score. New England 10, Cincinnati 10 here on opening day. 2 minutes to go. Game tied at 10. New England with the ball at the 36-yard line. What does Bill Belichick tell his team at this stage of the game?
Well, the same rules. Stay, get out of bounds if you can. If you're a receiver, if the ball is completed way down the field, expect for a timeout. They have 3 timeouts to go, and expect the Bengals to try to strip the ball. Hold it tight.
2nd and 5 from the 36. Bledsoe to the sideline. It's tipped in, complete. Brian Simmons got a hand on it and almost intercepted it.
Yeah, it looked like Drew was thrown into double coverage right there, and that's a ball that he'd like to have back. And, you know, Coach, you talked about using the sideline. One of the routes that I feel like is really great to run in this type of situation is that deep over route. Teams seem to really focus on the sidelines. When you got timeouts left, you can still run that 15, 20-yard deep over.
Third down and 5. Underneath, J.R. Redmond, first down. Gets to midfield. Gain of 14. Bledsoe quickly hurries his team back to the line of scrimmage.
See, plenty of time. He didn't move far enough down the field to waste the timeout. Save him for later. Still a minute and a half to go.
Bledsoe lines up in the gun. Compton once again at center. Now Bledsoe fires underneath again. This time caught by Troy Brown. A gain of 7.
You're seeing the zone blitz from the Cincinnati Bengals, where they bring linebackers and drop defensive linemen off. They're always one short in the zone, so if they get it off, there's running rooms.
In this shotgun, Compton goes to center. Damian Woody moves to left guard. Quick strike to the sideline. Bert Emanuel chopping his feet, taken down at the 40-yard line, picks up the first down, but the clock continues to run.
Now, that was a time where Bert Emanuel should have gone outside. He had some blockers outside. He cut back inside, had to burn a timeout, Coach.
Timeout on the field. Coming up on the Nextel halftime report. Join Jim, Mike, Randy, and Jerry for all the scores and highlights, plus a preview of the U.S. Open men's final between Leighton Hewitt and Pete Sampras. That's coming up on the Nextel halftime report.
And here's where Dick LeBeau and the defense has to be careful, because they have zone blitz the last 3 plays in a row. They come after him. This is the time to go down the field, because you're one-on-one everywhere down the field.
Boy, and I really like David Patton and what he brings to this receiving corps for the New England Patriots, and he is going to be a guy that's going to make some things happen this year. Now's the time maybe to take a shot. We saw him make a big play earlier on. Take a shot downfield. Give him a chance to run by one of those corners.
David Patton is the speed guy. He's the fastest one. The clutch guy is Troy Brown. That's the guy he's most comfortable with. But Patton certainly is the fastest of the group.
But New England got on the board first when Drew Bledsoe found Troy Brown for 14 yards. Neil Rackers came back with the field goal for Cincinnati. Then Adam Vinatieri added a field goal. And then Corey Dillon, a 5-yard run. And we're tied at 10. First and 10 from the 40. Under a minute to go. Bledsoe winds up incomplete. Ball intended for Patton, but he was blanketed nicely by Rodney Heath.
Patton did a little turning pattern, and he needed to slide back to the outside because Drew Bledsoe couldn't see him. There was a linebacker blocking the vision. Just misread between the two. 10-13. Bledsoe having a good day.
Second down and 10. Bledsoe under pressure. Adrian Ross wraps him up. Third sack of the day for the Bengals defense. And a timeout called by New England.
Watch Mike Compton, the left guard, having some real problems. Glenn Steele's the guy getting there first.
And boy, that just kills the drive, Coach. You got to burn a timeout. You lose yards. It just kind of lets the air out of your offense. They're marching the ball down the field. And we talked about this offensive line giving Drew Bledsoe time. And when he has time, he's going to gas you. And it's just tough, that zone blitz scheme. You got guys coming from every which way. And sooner or later, they're going to get you.
Tonight on 60 Minutes, why is Henry Kissinger being accused of aiding and abetting an assassination? The victim's son talks to 60 Minutes tonight. After tennis.
You know, in this 2-minute drill, when you get around the 30-yard line, between the 30 and 35, that's your 3-point area. You're within field goal range. So you don't want to get sacked or lose yardage back there. That's what the Patriots have done.
Bledsoe has been sacked exactly 100 times in the past 2 years. Today, 3 times. Was sacked 55 times last year. Flags on the play.
Well, they've had trouble with that snap count now. It's about the 3rd time that he's tried to hard count them, and that time I think Drew Bledsoe actually forgot to count because he stepped away.
Well, I know he started the motion quickly because he saw that time was running out. Just he couldn't get everybody set. He even pulled out from under center, and the ball still wasn't in his hands.
Yeah. See the coaches working the sideline. Boy, they can't let up a minute.
Dead ball that may have gained offense. 5-yard penalty remains 3rd down.
Bill Belichick, I've been there. I know the feeling right now.
And you know, at this point, Coach, do you try for the 1st down, or do you go ahead and try to chop off, 12 or 14 yards and get yourself in the field goal position? Vinatieri was hitting him from 55 in pregame warm-up.
Now, they've got 1 timeout. They can work anywhere they want to go right now.
David Patton comes in motion. Play action. Bledsoe. Can't set. Fires. J.R. Redmond with the catch. Spikes. Hauls him down immediately. And here comes the punt team for the Patriots. T.O. Spikes led the team in tackles last year, 4th highest total in Bengals history with 128.
When I think he really grew up last year. Brian Simmons, his running mate there, linebacker, was out for the season with a knee injury, and it was Takeo Spikes all alone. And I think he really matured in that situation. I think he's really a guy that feels like he's a team leader now. You mentioned that he's captain. This is his defense, and he is their emotional leader out there.
That's the end of the first half with the score. New England 10, Cincinnati 10. Coming up, it's the Nextel halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. To Cincinnati. Kickoff 2000, the opening day in the National Football League, where the New England Patriots and Cincinnati Bengals are tied up at 10 apiece. Welcome back, Gus Johnson, Brett Jones, and Sam Weish. And surprise, surprise, this Cincinnati team doesn't look as bad as they did last year. And New England, they don't look bad either. And this game is tied at 10.
Well, both teams are clearly better. They're moving the football up and down the field. Cincinnati scored their first touchdown of the year. They're going to their key guy, Peter Ward, the #1 pick a year ago. Little plant. Ty Law couldn't stay with him. He's out there. Gets into the position to hand the ball to their main man, and that's Corey Dillon, who scores off the right side. Running the football, they look pretty good.
And you know what, Coach? They do look pretty good. And you go back to the halftime stats. The 91 yards the Bengals have rushing the ball. If you're the New England defense, you say, hey, we got to stop Corey Dillon. And they are missing their #1 draft pick. Richard Seymour hurt his leg in practice earlier this week, and he has been the man in the middle, taking double teams, causing a lot of havoc for a rookie. And I think that he has been sorely missed here in the first half.
Seymour, the 6th overall pick, and the quarterback comparison. Drew Bledsoe has put up more yards than John Kitna. Kitna fumbling the ball. But Corey Dillon has been the man for this Cincinnati team. 13 carries, 86 yards. And aside from that 1 turnover, I think John Kitna has done a very nice job leading this team.
Very good management of the offense, and we talked about that earlier. Very similar to what Trent Dilfer did in Baltimore last year. Don't play outside your strengths. Don't try to do things that you're not capable of doing. John Kitna is a fiery victory leader. He's a guy that has a great presence in the locker room, a guy that people are looking up to on this offense. Keep some of these young receivers under control, poised and confident, and you've seen that here in the first half.
Neil Rackers tees it up. J.R. Redmond stands at his own goal line. This is Redmond about 4 yards deep, fumbles it, and decides to take a knee. So Drew Bledsoe comes back onto the field. Bledsoe in that first half, 11 of 14, 122 as we showed you. He's got some good running from Antoine Smith. They carries 30 yards.
You know, the difference in this ballgame, the reason the Bengals aren't really ahead by a 7 or more, they're only 20% on third and short or third down, and they had that one turnover.
First down and 10 from the 20, out of the offset eye. Edwards and Smith, play action. Bledsoe, quick roll, finds Edwards, but he threw it right at his shoe tops, too low. The last time these two teams met here in Cincinnati was back in 1994, Drew Bledsoe's second year. Bledsoe threw for 300 yards in that game as New England went on to win it 31-28.
Receivers again with the running back, blocking back.
Second down and 10, inside handoff, Edwards runs into a pile. Steve Foley there to lead the way.
In these situations right now that the Patriots are facing third and long, that's exactly what Takeo Spikes of the Bengals told us yesterday. He's licking his chops for it. That's when they can turn loose their linebackers. He, Steve Foley, Brian Simmons. They got these zone blitz packages. They can come off any corner. They force them into obvious passing situations. This is what they like to see.
Third and 7 from the 23. They need to go to the 30 for a first down. There's a 3-receiver package once again. Bledsoe looks over the middle. Edwards juggles it and drops it. And he had the first down. Ball thrown a little bit behind him, but a catchable ball. Brian Simmons covering.
And Steve Foley had a great spin move and put a big hit on Drew Bledsoe right after he got rid of the ball. Helmet right in the chest. Bang. And even when you put a big hit on Drew Bledsoe, he doesn't go very far. He's a big man himself.
He is. That's why they wear that flak jacket, too, for that very reason.
Peter Ward back deep. Lee Johnson, his first punt, 45 yards. Gave him the record. All-time yardage leader. Wobbly kick this time. And it takes a New England bounce all the way down to the 30. And it's downed at the 30-yard line, a 47-yard punt. So 13:54 to go here in the third quarter of play. Here come the Bengals.
Telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
Game tied at 10. It's really getting sticky down there on the field. Hot and humid day. Rained earlier. And the sun broke free. John Kitna passing. Goes up the sideline. Darnay Scott! Caught! Holy mackerel! Great concentration by Darnay Scott. A gain of 33.
That was a heck of a throw by John Kitna, but watch Darnay Scott get off the line of scrimmage. Otis Smith gets in his kitchen right off the bat, stays with it, but watch him take the last step and get vertical right at the right time. Just enough to get those fingertips on the ball and haul it in. One heck of a catch by Darnay Scott.
They have missed him big time, that's why.
Darnay Scott had a career-high 68 catches and a 1,000-yard season back in 1999. And then he hurt his leg in training camp, broke his leg last year. 3 catches, 72 yards for Darnay Scott, and Corey Dillon running the ball. Coach, does this team remind you at all of some of the players you had back on the 1988?
A lot of similarities. You know, Tim McGee and Darnay Scott look a lot alike. Eddie Brown, quick receiver like Peter Warwick. Rodney Holman, a terrific receiving tight end like Tony McGee. And of course, the big change is the difference is Boofer Esiason was pulled in trigger for us.
To the sideline, Peter Warwick. Nice catch. Keeps both feet in bounds.
You guys had a pretty good year that year in '88, didn't you?
Oh, good. Yeah. Yeah, but we got robbed in the Super Bowl. Robbed up there because we couldn't cover the tight ends that the 49ers threw at us.
That's a story that everybody's had to tell, Coach.
For those of you that don't understand the sub-story here, Brett Jones played on that 88 49ers Super Bowl championship team that beat the Cincinnati Bengals, hitting a thrown on the, tackled on the release. Should be an incompletion. Brian Cox shooting the gap.
Boy, you think Brian Cox has changed the attitude on this team? What a great offseason acquisition to get Brian Cox. You see him coming up the middle of the blitz, getting to Kidna, and he has changed the attitude. And he told us yesterday when he came in, he said, we have to change the work ethic of this former Patriot team, and he's been part of doing that, elected captain this year.
So Neil Rackers comes in to attempt a 47-yard field goal. He's already good from 36 for the lead. It's up. Looks like it was tipped at the line of scrimmage, but he has enough, and it's good. And the Cincinnati Bengals take a 3-point lead with 12:05 to go in the third quarter.
NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, celebrating 30 years of freedom. 30 years, one mission, low fares. Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Gatorade, is it in you? And by Hertz, the world's #1 in-car rental.
The Bengals lead the New England Patriots. Here's an interesting stat for you. After the kickoff, Racker sends it away, and Redmond will take a knee deep in the end zone. All of last September, the Bengals scored 7 points. Today they have 13. Wednesday on CBS, prepare yourself for a whole new breed of drama. Lou Diamond Phillips stars in Wolf Lake, premiering Wednesday at 10, 9 Central on CBS. How about that? Already a big difference. Brett, they scored 7 points in all of September last year, and they have 13 today.
You know, I know this is going to sound a little weird, but I don't feel like I'm in a Cincinnati Bengals game. They've been crisp. They've been aggressive.
Wait, hold on.
Sorry, I didn't mean when you coach, of course. Yeah, right.
First down and 10 at the 20.
Talk about stepping on your toes.
Antoine Smith wrapped up Wilson once again. Bernard Wilson, the fifth-year man out of Florida State, in the starting lineup today. And the Bengals are playing really well on defense, and they'll be getting some more help. That's because Justin Smith, their first-round draft pick, 4th overall, signed his contract last night. 6-year contract worth $40 million. He got a $10 million signing bonus. Young man out of the University of Missouri. Underneath, thrown behind Bert Emanuel. Right now, the Patriots looking a little shaky.
Well, the reason they're looking shaky is the Bengals are bringing a different blitz on almost every down. That time, Mark Edwards, the fullback for the Patriots, went out on motion. The defense just kind of loosened up, which would tell you if you're on the offense, looks like it's zone defense. Instead, they came with extra linebackers.
Coach, when did teams start blitzing every down?
When it started working 2 or 3 years ago, and honest to goodness, it's almost backfired on the NFL because so many quarterbacks now are getting hit. It's hard to protect them with the extra rushers.
3rd down and 12 from the 18. They need to go to the 30 for a first down. And a timeout called. Takeo Spikes desperately looking for an official to get a timeout. So with 11-12 to go here in the third quarter of play, 3rd down and 12 coming up for the Patriots. Cincinnati by 3 here in the third quarter of play, and the crowd starting to get into it.
Gus the Who Day chant. Haven't heard that for a few years, huh, Coach?
No, but I tell you what, it sure does sound good when you're on the field down there playing ball.
New England, 3rd down and 12 from the 18. They need to go to the 30 for a first down. And it's getting loud in here. Play action. Bledsoe sets up a screen. And they won't get it. Jermaine Wiggins running the ball. Brian Simmons there to make the tackle. And the Bengals are playing with a lot of energy and emotion right now.
Patriots that time pulled 2 guards to the right and threw the screen to the left. You don't see that much, Brent.
No, and Coach, it actually looked like it was setting up pretty good. But Damian Woody didn't get his block, and all of a sudden that Bengals defense collapsed. Great pursuit.
That's the speed of linebackers.
That's right.
Lee Johnson from the 7. Peter Warwick at the 35. And Warwick gets away from the football. Bucky Jones downs it. A 50-yard punt for Lee Johnson. 10:24 to go. Third quarter. Bengals on offense right after this.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the HP PhotoSmart digital camera. How will you use it? And by the all-new 200 horsepower Acura RSX Type S.
13-10, Cincinnati on top of New England here in the third quarter play. A lot of time remaining, and the Bengals have scored on their last 3 possessions since John Kitna's fumbled. 1 touchdown and 2 field goals. They take over at their own 41. First down and 10. Battaglia in motion. Handoff, Corey Dillon. And he'll gain maybe 1. Next Sunday, it's a doubleheader as the Patriots take on the Panthers in the late game. The Raiders roll out the unwelcome mat for the New York Jets. Check local listings for these and other games, beginning with Jim, Randy, Jerry, and Marcus on the NFL Today. For more, go to NFL.com, the official source for all your NFL information. AOL keyword NFL.com. Second down and 9 from the 42. Corey Dillon with 90 yards rushing. Here's the reverse to Peter Warwick. Warwick bottled up, reverses field. Could be dangerous. Needs a block. Warwick spins. Still on his feet. Warwick out at the 45. A 13-yard run, but he looked like he ran 75 yards.
Just like they practiced all week.
That's exactly right. And you're going to see Peter Warwick get cut off on the reverse to the right side and stop. And you know what, Coach? His greatest strength, he's a creator. He's not necessarily a speed guy. He creates, wiggle, shake, little limp leg, couple moves. And that's what you need to do. You need to get the ball in his hands any way you can.
Mike Goff with a great block on that play. Bengals with the first down at the New England 45. Play action, Kitna looking. Underneath Dugans, the intended receiver, ball thrown behind him.
Anytime you're throwing that far down the field, you both got to be, I guess the word is on the same page, but you got to read the defense the same way. If they're laying inside, you gear down as a receiver. If they're playing outside technique, you try to run away from coverage.
Yeah, and it just looked like Dugans was a little late getting out of his break, and Kitna stepped up and threw that ball.
Romeo Crennel, the defensive coordinator for the Patriots. Second down and 10 from the 45. Dillon the lone setback. That's Battaglia. Here's Corey Dillon with a blocker. Corey Dillon tackled from behind. Looks like Ryan Cox may have gotten to him first.
Because you mentioned Romeo Crennel. There's been a couple series where I've looked out on the field today, and one of the best cover corners in the league, Ty Law, hasn't been out there. We've seen Terrell Buckley. We've seen Otis Smith, and I don't know if Ty Law's got something that's keeping him off the field or if they're just rotating, but he's been off the field more than a few times, and he just came back on right now. But I can't imagine why you don't want your best corner out there.
Makes it third down and 10 from the 45. They need to go to the 35 for a first down. Bengals 1 of 6 on third down conversions today. And Kitna lines up in the shotgun. Here's John Kitna, steps up, down the sideline, open, punt, Darnay Scott, first down, Cincinnati. Gain of 24.
Scott just splits the sideline. The coverage is going to be dropped. He drops coverage, expecting help back here.
And Bucky Jones late getting over the top, Coach. And if you're a corner, Terrell Buckley, you saw him get his hands on Scott, and that's exactly what you need to do in the corner position, and that should buy enough time for that safety to come on over and get in that dead spot where you saw Darnay Scott catch the ball to Bucky Jones just late getting over.
What a return for Darnay Scott. 4 catches, 96 yards. Corey Dillon running up the middle. And that's some smash mouth football.
Bengals have done a good job of play selection here. Every time they get the ball deep down and throw the ball down the field, they immediately get the ball back to Dillon. One thing about John Kidna in Seattle was he would make a big mistake once a ball game. I don't want to jinx the guy, but they're doing a good job of not putting him in a position where he's trying to make a big play after play, just here and there.
And there's a guy that's been a receiver that made an impact for the Bengals, Chad Johnson, this preseason. He hasn't gotten the ball yet, but I'm anxious to see them use him. He can make some things happen.
2nd and 6 from the 17. This is Bennett, and Bennett won't get too far. Brian Cox with the tackle. And Brian Cox has played a number of places, in Chicago and Miami with the Jets, and now in New England. Last year he's with the Jets, and he came into training camp. Mike Vrabel had his jersey number 51, so he wore number 0. So what happened? For an undisclosed amount of money, he was able to get his number 51 back.
To be determined later. That's what it was.
It was a big price if he didn't want to talk about it, I guarantee you.
3rd down and 4 from the 15. Kitna throwing up top. Incomplete, intended for Darnay Scott. He wanted a flag. Otis Smith covering. And the officials, they're letting him play.
They're letting him play, but there's that 5-yard chuck zone, and Darnay Scott looked like he ran a hook and go, coach. And you see him get to the top of the route and start to go, and there's Otis Smith getting his hands on him and holding him up. And he wasn't able to get to that ball, and maybe the referees just determined it wasn't a catchable ball, but 5-yard chuck zone.
Neil Racker's good from 36 and 47. This a 33-yard attempt. They get it down. It's up. Good again. Neil Racker's perfect today. A man that was 12 of 21 1 year ago is mowing him down this afternoon. Bengals have scored on 4 straight possessions. 3 field goals and 1 touchdown. The scoring drive, Neil Rackers has been perfect on the day. Sends it off. J.R. Redmond, 5 yards deep, decides to bring it out. Redmond gets to the 20, lowers his head, and goes down at the 22. A winning spirit in the stadium this afternoon, and I tell you what, there was one man that knew about winning here in Cincinnati, Sam Weish. He knew playoff football. The last time the Bengals won a playoff game was January 6th, 91. They beat the Oilers 41-14. The following week, they lost their last playoff game 20-10 to the then Los Angeles Raiders.
Yeah, we got robbed on that one too, by the way. Did you notice the one important part of that clip? Boomer Esiason.
That's right.
The best way to coach him was fold your arms and don't say anything.
The Boomer.
That's right.
1st and 10 from the 22. Antoine Smith, nowhere to go. Get in the game. Register today for all levels of fantasy football, from novice to expert. Just click on free fantasy at cbs.sportsline.com or AOL keyword CBS Sportsline.
The Patriots are having trouble. They can't protect for the pass, and they're nowhere to run the ball. So offensively, just nothing happening now.
2nd down, 9 from the 23. Bledsoe, quick strike, finds David Patton. Patton gets over the 25 to the 27. Heck of a hit made by Steve Foley.
And we saw early on when the Patriots could run the ball, their passing game was opening up. But look at this graphic. These last 4 possessions, 3 plays, 2 yards, 3 yards, 20. And they got a field goal out of it. But they haven't run the ball as effectively as they did earlier in the game. And that's when their passing game was opening up. They've become one-dimensional. They're not even trying to run the ball in the heart of the Cincinnati defense. And it's allowing a lot of pressure on Drew Bledsoe.
3rd down and 5 from the 27. They need to go to the 32 for a 1st down. Bledsoe in trouble, gets it away, incomplete. J.R. Redmond, the intended receiver, but a flag is on the play.
And a late flag, and I think Renard Wilson might have just jumped right here at the bottom of the screen.
That one's most likely against the Bengals being offsides.
So if you're sitting at home right now and you're watching this Patriot offense start to stall, do you start thinking about Terry Glenn?
Well, I don't. I tell you what, as a coach, let that guy go. He didn't want to play this year, and they went through a lot of trouble with him. It's time to move on. I think the players think that too for the Patriots. He's a good player. They miss him. Okay, we admit that. Now we got to go play with somebody else.
And Bill Belichick told us about the type of guys that he brought in, and they were very aggressive this offseason. Brought in 18 veteran free agents, and that's going to really pay dividends in situations like this. But I like Bill Belichick's team. I think it's really progressing. I think you got to give kudos to Robert Kraft, allowing him to go out and spend the money, be aggressive.
And a lot of their veterans are just plain veterans. They're not just guys that are free agents. Look at that list of the years in the league. You bring experience, you bring leadership, you bring an attitude to the ball club when you bring that kind of experience in. And that's the route the Patriots.
You bring in locker room guys, Coach. And in this last year, Bill Belichick told us we had 11 guys who just happened to be wearing the same uniform, 11 individuals. This year, we're a team. He said, this is a team.
Well, here's where it pays off. They're down in the third quarter, and they need to come back to win a game. Let's see if the veteran helps.
They need a yard on 3rd down and 1. Inside handout, Edwards won't get it. No way, he goes backwards. The Cincinnati defense, led by Raynard Wilson, will force this Patriots team to punt it away.
It looked like Drew Bledsoe might have had some trouble with his footwork getting that ball off. Maybe just stumbled just a little bit. And you see him you see his foot get stepped on. Maybe just allowed Mark Edwards to hesitate a second getting up in there. And by then it was too late.
By then you had 11 Bengals all over the football. That was a great pursuit.
Lee Johnson, his 4th punt. Wobbly kick. Peter Ward gets away from it. Out of bounds. Let's see where the official spots it. At the 30. 39-yard punt. Now tonight on 60 Minutes, why is Henry Kissinger being accused of aiding and abetting an assassination? The victim's son talks 60 Minutes tonight. Then if you or anyone you know missed any part of The Amazing Race, here's your chance to see it. Don't miss the encore presentation of the show. The critics give 4 stars, followed by the CBS Sunday movie, The Patriot Saint of Liars, starring Ellen Burstyn and Dana Delaney. It's all here tonight on CBS. 1st down 10 from the 30-yard line for the Bengals. Trying to add to their lead, up by 6. 3:24 to go, 3rd quarter of play. Hand off Corey Dillon. Dillon hit by Teddy Bruschi. Goes down. And the last 4 possessions for the Bengals has been very successful outings.
We mentioned Richard Seymour, the nose tackle of the Patriots, hurting his leg and being out today, but you also have to look at the fact Willie McGinnis had micro back surgery in June. He's only been in a handful of plays. Lawyer Malloy hurt his back here in the first half. He's not in there. So they've got a little bit of a makeshift defense going on right now. Somebody's going to have to put the clamps down on this Cincinnati offense.
2nd down and 8 from the 32-yard line. Kitna looking to the sideline. Warwick with the catch. Both feet inbound.
Well, that's pretty to me. When he caught the ball, put the ball away, but he looked down to see where the out of bounds was, see how much of a dead leg he had to give it. Peter Warwick's a fascinating player because he can do so many things for the team.
Last year, 51 catches, 592 yards, 4 receiving touchdowns, 2 touchdowns running the ball, 1 return. First man in Bengals history to have touchdowns in 3 different categories: receiving, running, and returning.
Well, now that's not true because I had him receiving, running, and interceptions. I threw them.
Darnay Scott continues to have a terrific game. Out of bounds, and Scott over the 100-yard mark now as he picks up 8. He has 5 catches for about 104 to be official. And John Kitna's having a good day also. 12 of 19, 146 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, 1 fumble. Corey Dillon again. Dillon around the corner. Watch out! Corey Dillon down the sideline, and he steps out of bounds. Game 18.
You can start to see the defense getting tired, just flat out Lucky jumping on the back.
You know, Coach, the thing that's impressive about Dillon, watch him. You think of him as inside runner, watch him cut back. Watch Lorenzo Neal stay on his block. And what Corey Dillon has, and most backs don't have in this league, is the strength and power to run inside, but the speed to break it back outside. He's such a unique back.
Second round pick out of Washington today, 133 yards rushing against a Bill Belichick-led defense.
He'll do that most weekends, too. He's just that kind of runner.
First and 10 from the 37. Kitna underneath Warwick. Another nice catch. That one thrown right at his eyeball. And he picks it up at the 30-yard line.
Well, I don't want to keep working on, but you watch the Patriots. They get their hands on their hips. When I see teams with their hands on their hips or hands down around their knees, as a group, you know that you've got fatigue out there on the football field. They've been on the field a lot today.
They haven't gotten a lot of help from their offense, especially here in the second half of play. 2nd and 3 from the 30. Brandon Bennett now around the left side. Remember, this game was tied at 10 at halftime. And Cincinnati up by 6 now and driving once again. 33 seconds remaining in the third quarter of play.
And you know what, Gus? I think that the Coach LeBeau notices the fact that New England's got their hands on their hips. He's talking to John Kitna, trying to get him in and out of the huddle. They aren't taking the full time to get up there. They're getting up there with a lot of seconds left on the clock, snapping it, and they're bringing it right down these guys' throats.
First and 10 from the 25. Brandon Bennett, the lone setback. Kitna underneath. Touchdown! Tony McGee wide open. John Kitna told us on Friday that he wanted to start using his tight end. And Brent Jones, that made you smile.
Very happy. Marco Battaglia and Tony McGee, two very underutilized receiving tight ends. Guys that can make an impact, guys that can hurt you.
Racker's in for the extra point. It's up. And good. Tony McGee, 9th year out of Michigan. Had 1 touchdown last year.
And you're going to watch Tony McGee just run that seam route right here. Brian Cox has him too deep. You see Brian get lateral. He has Tony McGee deep. He's got to know that he's got him down the seam. You see McGee get up and get that ball. Tough catch when you're all by yourself.
They try to get into the stands, but this stadium is a new one, and they figured it out. They made the wall about 2.5 feet higher. You can't jump up there like you do at Lambeau.
Tony McGee gives the Bengals a 23-10 lead. They've scored on their last 5 possessions. And in past years, the Bengals have really struggled in September.
And, and part of that has been their offense. Their defense has gotten tired on the field. Offense not getting any points, and this is a new day for the Cincinnati Bengals. And I just got to credit John Kitna. He's done a great job of spreading the ball around. They come back to Corey Dillon, using all his receivers. That's what you need to do. Keep your defense fresh. You've got some young, fresh legs, guys that can make some things happen. And it's been a long time, Gus, since we've heard this stadium this loud.
And Dick LeBeau, John Kitna, trying to make believers out of the fans here in Cincinnati. LeBeau celebrating his 64th birthday today. What better present could his team give him? And Rackers almost gets this one out of the end zone. A serious buzz going around the stadium right now. That's the end of the third quarter with the score. Cincinnati 23, New England 10. We'll return to Paul Brown Stadium right after this word from your local station. John Kitna threw his first touchdown of the season to Tony McGee, and the Bengals have scored on their last 5 possessions, up 23-10. So let's see if Drew Bledsoe and the Patriots can answer. They start from their own 25. Bledsoe, play action, looking, incomplete. Antoine Smith, the intended receiver. And welcome back, Gus Johnson, along with Brent Jones, Sam Weish, and Coach Weish, will start with you. Are you surprised with the way this Bengals team is playing right now?
Well, I'm not surprised after the way they talked to us yesterday, but Dick LeBeau has a little phrase, focus and finish. Well, here's the finish of a ball game. They've got to now polish them off because this one's not over yet.
You're the Bengals' new greatest fans. Almost like you coached here.
Hey, I still owe people money in this town. I got to be good.
Brings up 2nd down and 10. Here's Antoine Smith running the football. Gets over the 20 up to about the 23. Steve Foley with the tackle. Antoine Smith, a 1,000-yard rusher for the Buffalo Bills back in 1998.
And now's the time that Drew Bledsoe has to rely on that veteran group of receivers that he has to make a play. Those guys got to get open. The Bengals know they're going to throw the ball. These guys need to make a move. Little head and shoulder fake. Get open. Give Drew a chance to have a spot to work that ball in.
3rd down and 6 from the 24. They need to go to the 30. Empty backfield. J.R. Redmond out of the backfield. Bledsoe to the sideline. Out of bounds.
Man-to-man coverage, and that time Brian Simmons lines up on the end of the line of scrimmage, and he forces Bledsoe to throw quick. He didn't think he'd have any time. He did have. The pickup was pretty good.
And, you know, with all the receivers available to you, I don't know if J.R. Redmond's the guy that I'm looking for in that situation.
Well, you're right there, too.
It's so ironic. The Patriots were 3-1 during the preseason. The Bengals were 1-3. I guess preseason football doesn't mean a whole lot.
Well, it means a lot if you're coming off a bad year.
That's right.
Both teams come off bad years as Lee Johnson hits a bomb all the way down, and it gets into the end zone. Wow. A 76-yard punt. Lee Johnson delivered the longest kick of his career, 76 yards. But the Bengals have it at their own 20. Here's Kitna throwing underneath. Corey Dillon with the one-hand grab. It's out of bounds. They are doing everything right today. 14-yard gain, and here's Cincinnati's version of the triplets.
Well, Peter Warwick last year had to play without Darnay Scott. That's helped both of them. And this guy right here, let's just face it, he's one of the best running backs in the NFL.
It seems like everything's going right for Cincinnati. John Kitna threw that ball into a crowd and outbroke Corey Dillon. And getting him involved in the passing game is going to be very instrumental this year.
Kitna putting up good numbers. Here's Dillon tripped up in the backfield. And taken down, first man to him is Willie McGinnis, number 55. Injured player on the field. Mike Grable, the free agent signee from Pittsburgh. And he's holding his left knee.
Corey Dillon's slow getting up as well. Willie McGinnis hadn't played a lot tonight because he just didn't feel like he was in condition to do it. Didn't play a lot during the preseason, but he is a real factor when he's ready to go.
Mike Grable in a lot of pain. Local product, played at Ohio State from Ohio.
See, Willie McGinnis, the one that actually throws everything out of whack. And Teddy Bruschi comes in there and finishes him off, but you're not looking at Corey Dillon anymore, but Mike Grable, they just can't afford any more injuries on the backs on their defensive side of the ball for New England. They've had them all.
Grable, born in Akron, Ohio, still being looked at on the field. 13-16 to go in the fourth. Back in a moment.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Holiday Inn, who gives you more, and more is better. DirecTV, the #1 digital satellite entertainment provider. And by CDW, computing solutions built for business.
Welcome back. This is moments ago Mike Grable being carted off the field. That left knee injured. 2nd down and long from the the 28. Here's a screen. Corey Dillon with a blocker in front of him. Chopped down at the 35. Otis Smith. Great looking play after a gain of 7.
Willie McGinnis had all that pressure on the previous play, so they went right back at him, let him come free and throw it over his head.
Yeah, that's tough when you don't get a lot of snaps in the preseason. You're always sucking some wind that first game. And, Willie McGinnis is the difference maker as far as rushing the passer. And we talked about Richard Seymour, their first-round pick. He's a difference maker versus the run. And Lawyer Malloy, a difference maker in the secondary out with an injury. And this is something the Bengals need to do more of. Screen passes and a great tackle. Otis Smith taking Corey Dillon's knees right out from under him.
3rd down 9 from the 35. They need to go to the 44. Here comes a blitz. They hand it off to Bennett. Bennett with running room with the first down and more. Great call by Bob Bratkowski, the Cincinnati offensive coordinator. A gain of 21 yards.
And as great as Bennett was, watch the right tackle. Big Willie Anderson right here. Bang on Brian Cox. Bang right on your back. There's nobody around. Bennett's getting up. Big, huge hole. And look at John Kay. You think he's fired up about it?
Well, he was looking from the back. He could see the vision that the running back Bennett had that time. He was really stacked up. And then here's the coordinator of Bob Bratkowski, who's new this year with the Cincinnati Bengals.
Came over from Seattle. Here's the handoff. Bennett once again slicing through the New England defense to the 35. And we talked to Dick LeBeau on Friday, and he told me that he told all of us that he had to go to one of their former coaches when it was time to hire a new offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I was wondering which coach he would be going to.
Well, he was calling to see, how I was doing. He didn't ask me any questions about that. Dick LeBeau knows how to make the right choices there. He was the defensive coordinator when I was here, and I can tell you firsthand, he's a terrific coach.
Handoff once again to Bennett. Bennett wrapped up. Let's talk about the Cincinnati offensive line with the addition of Richmond Webb. Willie Anderson already very good at right tackle. They're getting a lot of push, Brent, on that offensive line for these backs, Bennett and Dillon.
Yeah, and this offensive line has a lot of confidence running the ball. They figure that's their game, but if they could improve in the pass blocking area, they could really take this offense to a new level. And when they got Richmond Webb this offseason, we talked to Richmond, and he said, I came in here, I figured they had some young talent, and he is kind of the veteran leader of this team. A lot of guys, he's got playoff experience, really making some things happen out there.
Kitna sidearms it, incomplete. Lorenzo Neal had both hands on the football, unable to hold on. Follow all the games on NFL.com and after the games. Get in-depth analysis and recaps from the experts only at NFL.com or AOL keyword NFL.com. Brings up 3rd down and 10 from the 34.
Key position on the field now at the 34-yard line. You don't want to lose anything. They're up by 13 points. A field goal puts them up more than 2 scores. So this is don't lose any yardage. Gain as much as you can if you can't get a first down for the field goal.
Cincinnati balanced on offense. 27 rushes, 25 passes. They need to go to the 24. They flip it out. And nowhere to go. Tackled at the 35-yard line. Ty Law making the tackle on Peter Warwick. And for the first time in a long time, I don't know if he's kicked today. Here comes the rookie punter, Nick Harris. I think he has 1 punt. Yes, he has 1 punt on the afternoon.
Well, this will be a pooch kick. Now Daniel Polk, who's been with the Bengals for several years.
At the University of California, Harris was known for being able to pin opponents inside their own 20-yard line. See if he can do it here. Gets this one high in the air. And he does it again. Ball deadens at the 6. Well done by the rookie. 23-10, Cincinnati. New England with their worst starting field position of the day at their own 6. Bledsoe batted down at the line of scrimmage. Incomplete. And look at the total yardage by half. New England 162 in the first half, 13 in the second half.
And you just don't see that with a Bill Belichick coach team. And I'm sure he's very disappointed. This New England defense has looked tired to me. And like we said, we mentioned a few of the stars that are out of the lineup right now. But still, they have enough guys to be able to play a little bit better than they've been playing.
Bledsoe under pressure today. J.R. Redmond in the backfield. Hand off to Redmond. Goes forward, gets to the 9. Ron Booker with the tackle. New England, 4 straight 3-and-outs.
What you're seeing with New England is they're having to throw quick passes so they can't get the ball down the field. And of course, the last run was an audible. They're still calling the ball, but lots of blitzes coming from the Bengals.
3rd and 7 from the 9. Bledsoe under pressure, underneath, caught. Troy Brown somehow able to come up with the catch in front of Chris Carter. A gain of 19 yards, making a gain of 10 yards.
2-minute offense, no huddle now.
And I'm surprised, Coach, more teams don't do this in fourth quarters when they're down. 8 minutes left in the game. They need 2 touchdowns to get back on top. They've got a long way to go and not a whole lot of time. Do the 2-minute drill.
Bledsoe steps up in the pocket. Fires. Caught by Brown. Troy Brown gets to midfield. And Brown is taken down inside Cincinnati territory by Artrell Hawkins.
It's a game of inches, isn't it, Brown?
And you watch this, Coach. When you're talking inches, watch Drew Bledsoe here. He comes out of the pocket. Nice job getting the defensive end run around. Right after he throws it, and he gets whacked. 1 more inch or 2, another second. That was going to be a fumble.
Bledsoe to throw once again. Underneath. And it's caught this time by his big tight end, Jermaine Wiggins, who keeps his feet going. Gets another first down. A gain of 12.
We talked about New England's defense getting a little fatigued. You can see it on the defensive side of the Bengals. Defense is usually tired before the offense because they don't know where the ball's going. If you're going away, that offense can take a little bit of a breather on the backside.
A lot of time remaining in this game, 7:20. Here's the handoff to Redmond. Breaks it back, keeps going. Redmond struggles forward to the 30-yard line. And now it looks as if the Patriots have decided to use the pass to set up the run as opposed to early on where they used the run to set up the pass.
And with this 2-minute offense, there's no pass rush coming like it was before. They're tired.
2nd down and 2 from the 30. Bledsoe again. Lobs it up the field. Incomplete. He expected Redmond to break down the sideline, and Redmond broke out of bounds.
You know, we talk about being tired. Everybody, you can run a 40-yard dash and you'll be winded when you get through. Being in condition, to me, is your recovery time. How fast do you recover between plays? And if you don't have any time between plays, you wear down.
3rd down 2 from the 30. 6:48 to play in regulation. Drew Bledsoe. Underneath, Kurt Emanuel dropped the football. That'll kill you.
You cannot do that on 3rd down with the ball right in your gut.
Well, they got to go for it. There won't be any field goal.
And I don't know if Kurt Emanuel is looking to run and get some yards after the catch. That's one of those babies that you just got to cradle, and I don't care if you stop right there.
Yeah, he had the first down on the catch.
4th down and 2. They're on their feet here in the jungle. Bledsoe over the middle. Troy Brown won't drop it. 1st down inside the 20. A gain of 12.
And almost count on him going to Troy Brown there.
And that's why his name is Mr. Clutch. Just running on a slant. You see him set the defensive back up outside. Nice job of getting him off his spot. Come back underneath, Coach. That's a lot of guts not huddling up on 4th down.
1st down from the Cincinnati 19. Brown 5 catches, 85 yards. Bledsoe pumping, gets rid of it. Patrick passed with the grab, lowers his head and gets inside the 10 to about the 8-yard line. Darrell Williams with the tackle after a gain of 11.
Looks like Takeo Spikes is hurt. That's part of what is called the West Coast offense. You know, throwing the ball to your backs late out of the backfield. Every team has it. This is the West Coast offense. It's just the NFL offense.
And you watch Patrick Pass just coming out of their check down route when all the receivers are covered, and he's going to have a good collision here. You see Takeo Spikes come in and kind of gets leg whipped. Might have been the spikes on the Patrick Pass's cleats that got him.
6'2" and 245. I'll tell you what, we're talking to him yesterday. It's all muscle and gristle. There's no body fat on that man. Tough competitor. You know, he told us that Brian Simmons could probably run a 4.540, and he could also do that. They're probably on a team that has 2 linebackers that can run 4 or 5 40-yard dashes in the league.
And Takeo Spikes is playing this season with a heavy heart. His father is very sick. He has a brain tumor, had surgery in February. He's usually at every game, but right now his father unable to talk or walk. And he tapes his dad's name to his wrist, writes his dad's name on his wrist. And his last words to Takeo before he went back was, hey, go out there and do it. Right now he's on the field, shaken up.
You know, when you're down like that, there's no way to speculate what it is. Part of it is you're exhausted, so you're more vulnerable to an injury.
Takeo Spikes, his father, Jimmy Spikes.
Well, we wish him the best. This is Takeo does.
Spikes is up. You better believe he'll be back.
Saying a little word to his team before he leaves the field. Mainly saying, hey, it's first down. Make sure you're standing right here when it's second down, because I'll be back.
And Takeo might have stayed down just a little bit longer just to give the rest of his teammates a break. You know, when you're injured and you got that time stop, and give everybody a chance to catch their breath. And
I thought they only did that in baseball when they sent the pitching coach out to talk.
See, it's a veteran move, Coach. You know that thing. And so these guys got a little bit of a breather. And I really like the way the Patriots came back and did the hurry-up offense to Cincinnati and moved it right down the field.
11th play of the drive for the Pats that started at their own 6-yard line. First down goal from the Cincinnati 8. Empty backfield. Redmond in motion. Bledsoe looking underneath, caught. Wiggins towards the end zone. Touchdown. Some hard running by Jermaine Wiggins after the catch.
Man-to-man coverage. Get down here tight. You see more man-to-man than normal.
And how many years did we see Big Ben coach catch that ball and just bounce into the end zone? And I thought Wiggins was going to be stopped, and he just kept those legs churning, spinning, moving, and that was a heck of an effort by the young tight end.
Almost right at the end, but once you cross that end zone, you can do anything you want with the ball. Just break the plane.
So Adam Vinatieri comes on the field, and I think Coach LeBeau wants to challenge the touchdown. The red flag is on the field, the flag the coach keeps in his pocket when the beeper that he has on his hip doesn't work.
This will be the first one for this officiating crew in the NFL to have a review. I'm sure what he's checking or what he's appealed is, did he cross the plane before he fumbled? See him right dead in the middle. Good read by both quarterback and receiver. Certainly can't tell there, Brent, whether it's got to be, is it indisputable or undisputable? Do you have any idea?
I always say indisputable.
Yeah, well, I have no idea, so whatever you say.
Yeah, to overturn the call on the field, and they did call touchdown.
Here's another look.
Now, they'll be looking at the same views we are, and if they can't tell, By the way, now the ball has to cross the plane. His whole body can go across. As long as that ball hadn't crossed, it's no touchdown.
And you saw him holding it low. He was getting tackled up top, and the ball was down low. And his shoulders were definitely over, but did that ball make it over in time?
Yep. Before he was down. No, don't even count the fumble. If he's down and the ball hasn't crossed. Dick LeBeau was willing to wager one timeout to find out. Officials in there are seeing the replays. They listen to the upstairs. By the way, the upstairs review people are NFL guys.
And this is the real first pressure call of the day on these replacement officials, and they definitely want to get it right. But they've been, for the most part, right on top of things today and done a pretty good job.
They have. Anxious time for Dick LeBeau and Bill Belichick. Games, with 5.5 minutes to go, the game can swing on a call like this.
You see the camera angle right there getting blocked. Wiggins going forward. You see him carrying the ball low, and it's starting to come out right there. But as he across that line, like I said, Wiggins is carrying it low, and there's the ball coming out right at that point. Boy, it was awful close.
Close usually goes with a call on the field.
There you go. Indisputable, I think you said it was.
And the call on the field is touchdown, New England. Huge decision coming up for these replacement officials.
Well, if it's not a touchdown, it'll be 2nd and goal at the 1-inch line. So there's still a chance for the Patriots to get in the end zone the next play.
After review, there's no visual indisputable evidence that the play should be changed. The ruling stands on the field. Touchdown.
Correct call.
And I love the way he used indisputable. He must have been listening to the booth.
Well, they asked the officials to be more descriptive, to tell what's going on. Of course, the replacement guys in here, they haven't done that before. And I know, Brent, you've never done it, so there's no one to help out here. I thought it was a pretty good call.
Adam Vinatieri in to attempt the extra point. And it's good. 11-play drive that started at the 6, covering 94 yards, and the Patriots are within 6.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by American Express. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, American Express helps you do more. And by Nextel, how business gets done.
Welcome back to Paul Brown Stadium, 23-17. New England trying to claw their way back into this game. Here's Keaton. He fields it at the 1. Keaton with the gap, returning it up to the 28-yard line, a return of 27 yards. Don't forget, coming up next, the ultimate test of the world's toughest tennis. The men's championship featuring 4th-seeded Leighton Hewitt versus 10th-seeded Pete Sampras. Live from Flushing Meadows. For more U.S. Open news, go to cbs.sportsline.com or AOL keyword CBS Sportsline.
Well, probably the greatest thing about that drive was it allowed the New England defense to rest, because those guys were really dragging, fellas.
So let's see. Bengals with the lead. Will they tighten up? Corey Dillon over the right side. Dillon pushed out of bounds at the 30. And so far, guys, what do you think? How have the officials done, the replacement officials? I think they've done a pretty good job so far.
They've done an excellent job. It's a fast game. It's a tough one to call. A lot of judgments they've been, I think, just right. The one thing I just want to comment on that last play, though, is Corey Dillon, don't run out of bounds. If you're Dick LeBeau, you're saying keep that clock running with a little less than 5 minutes to go. Now the clock would restart because it was just outside the 5 minutes, but from now on, it'll stop the clock.
Empty backfield. Neal lines up the fullback at the top of your screen. Dillon at the bottom. Underneath, it's caught by Peter Warrick. And Warrick submarines close to the first down. The ball is spotted at the 37. Should bring up 3rd down and about 2 2.5.
And for the most part today, this New England Patriots defensive line hasn't been able to get pressure on John Kitna. And you see what he's done when you've given him time. They've got to find a way, whether it's through stunts or blitz, to get some pressure, get somebody in his face.
Third down, 2. Double tight ends. Battaglia goes in motion. Play action. Kitna looking. Batted down. Batted down by Bobby Hamilton, and the Patriots will get another crack at it.
Now, Gus, when you're the Cincinnati Bengals and it's 3rd and 2 and you have Corey Dillon,
why throw the ball?
The dangerous call is to throw the ball, because announcers like us are going to second guess you, because you go with your strength in that situation. They haven't been able to stop him all day. They tried play action. The ball gets batted down, and everybody says, hey, why didn't they give Corey the ball for 2 yards? And there's Bill Belichick. And we talked about the type of player he's brought in, and you see them rebound. You see them face adversity. They had that big drive, and now they're 3 and out, and they're back in the mix.
Nick Harris from the 23. Troy Brown back deep. Wobbly kick. Brown with the fair catch signal at the 30-yard line. So Drew Bledsoe has 70 yards in front of him for a touchdown, and here he comes. Tonight on CBS, if you or anyone you know missed any part of The Amazing Race, here's your chance to see it tonight after 60 minutes and catch an all-new episode on Wednesday at 8 Central. The Amazing Race tonight after 60 minutes on CBS.
Here's the key things to remember right now. They have 3 timeouts left, New England does, but they have to score a touchdown. Field goals don't count.
Coach, I'd stick with the hurry-up offense. It worked great for them. You saw the Bengals get tired. You don't go back to huddling up after that, do you?
Absolutely not.
Here comes the blitz. Bledsoe underneath Troy Brown. Gets to the 40. Let's see if they use it.
Darn right they are.
That's the danger of the zone blitz. You are 1 short in the short zone of the underneath that 8 to 10 yard area. 1 short of coverage people.
Gain 9 on the last play, 2nd and 1. Patriots with 3 timeouts. Bledsoe to the sideline. David Patton bobbled it. Keeps his hands on it. Out of bounds at the 49. Gain of 12. And Bledsoe always so calm and collected when the game is on the line.
There's no rush here. It's more important to get it right than it is to save 2 or 3 seconds.
First down and 10. Here's Drew. Pumping. Looks the other way for Bert Emanuel. Incomplete. Tried to thread the needle and throw it between 2 defenders, Tom Carter and Chris Carter.
I tell you, Brent, as a quarterback coach, I used to tell the quarterback, never, ever throw the ball late down the field in the middle, because there's too many people you can't account for.
Yeah, and you know what, Coach? He was looking front side and came back and just threw it up there, and he's lucky that ball didn't hang another second in the air, because that would have been intercepted.
2nd down, 10 from the 49. Bledsoe again. Underneath, J.R. Redmond. Cuts it back, gets to the 40, close to a first down. Needed to get to the 39 for first. It'll be spotted at the 40.5-yard line.
And that's not going to be a play that shows up in the statistics, but J.R. Redmond, with that little herk and jerk move right there, got an extra 4 yards. 3rd and 2 and 3rd and 6 are a huge difference at this point in the game, Gus.
Injured player on the field for the Bengals.
I can't see who it is, but we're waiting to see it. The one thing that Drew Bledsoe did on that last play that he didn't do on the previous play is he let his eyes fall short. Everybody was covered down the field, so he let his eyes draw and he laid the ball up to J.R. Redmond. Let him make the run afterwards. And you've got no risk of an interception at that point. Drew Bledsoe is one of the elite quarterbacks in the National Football League. He's going to do most things right, but when you get in a desperate situation like this, you get 3 minutes to go trying to score, sometimes you force him in there.
So, Sam, you were one of the creators of the hurry-up, no-huddle offense.
I own the patent. What are you talking about?
Well, Marv Levy may have an argument with you. However, how do you defend it? How do you stop it? How do you slow it down?
Well, let's see. Marv Levy used to feign injuries as fake an injury, and here we have one here. I don't know if this is a feigned one or not, but one of the ways teams did slow us down, we had a very good offensive unit, is that they would have on 3rd down, they'd shoot somebody. They just right there with their finger, they'd shoot him, and that guy would then go down. Trainers would come out. Substitutions would go in. They'd come off the field. In the playoff game with Seattle in 1988, they did that, and the Buffalo Bills threatened to do it in the next week, but did not.
Tony Williams, the injured player, and a great sign of sportsmanship as Drew Bledsoe goes over and helps him up. Williams, playing with a broken finger on his right hand, goes out of the lineup. Slammed his finger in a door at his house.
You know, we'd be remiss not to point out that the New England Patriots could have thrown in the towel here about 10 minutes ago, and they have fought back hard. They're playing like they were in the first half right now.
Character guys, Coach. That's the difference.
Yeah, that's where the veterans come in.
They didn't have that last year.
3rd and 2 from the 41. Obviously, 4-down territory for the Pats. Bledsoe can't take a sack underneath. Throws it behind his intended receiver, Patton, and that'll bring up 4th down and 2.
Those were awful deep routes to run on 3rd and 2. I thought they might have had a little crossing underneath going, or maybe a little pick play coming out to the side, but they ran some deeper routes, Coach.
Well, that time they decided to keep 2 guys in the block, too, so they didn't have anybody to lay out.
So that brings up 4th down and 2 from the 41.
You got to look for Troy Brown in this situation, Mr. Clutch.
And Bledsoe goes forward.
This is simply a left-right. The left foot marks it, it's a 1st down. The right one probably didn't make it.
I think he got it, and that's a gutsy call. It wasn't 4th and 1. That was 4th and 2.
And Cincinnati, they're saying he didn't get it.
Well, it depends on where they mark it. I thought he actually had it, but they're bringing that ball back, and it might be 3 or 4 inches short if I look across the far marker on the far side of the field.
Where we are.
And like I said, with 2 yards to go, that's an awful gutsy call.
Oh, wow, this is going to be close.
Well, one thing I do if I'm Bill Belichick, I challenge the spot right now. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Well, I don't think you can challenge it. There's just going to be a pile up there. Whew, that's close.
And he got it.
They still haven't even decided. They're still trying to figure out if that's it or not.
Oh! The officials say that Cincinnati held him. And Bill Belichick is pushing the button on his hip. He's certainly going to challenge the spot.
Let's see where that ball is. Let's see where Drew Bledsoe ends up. It's right there. There's a pile of players. But that certainly looks, you look at his body, it certainly looks further than the 1.5 yards that he had to go.
Well, you can't appeal that one because you're not going to be able to find the ball in that pile on the replay either.
Well, that is true.
Now, 3 timeouts.
Pile up there.
Patriots have called timeout after every play at this point. They got a 2-minute warning as well.
So they play on. Here's Corey Dillon. Dillon tackled from behind. Bearing down on him, Roman Pfeiffer, number 95. But the clock is stopped. Timeout called by the Pats.
Coach, would you run a quarterback sneak, 4th and 2?
Well, the defensive tackles for the Bengals were lined up on the outside edge of the guard, so there was a hole there. And all they had to do was give him just enough room to take a couple of steps. The problem is when your center snaps the ball, if he gets bumped left or right at all, you're out of running room, and that's what happened.
Now, it could have been a situation where the coach didn't call it. Drew Bledsoe might have had it and just goosed the center. He might have just taken the shot. Yep. What do you think? You think it was a Drew Bledsoe move?
Well, who knows? I really don't know. But I know that the tackles are wide, and a veteran player like Bledsoe very easily could have run the goose play.
And here it is again.
Well, Damian Woody, one of the best centers in the league. If you're going to follow somebody, you want to follow him. And there's Drew right on him, and you see his legs churning. He's got that ball up. He's not carrying it low. You see the ball right there, trying to get the mark.
Very close. That's one of those that, like I said, left foot, right foot. Depends on which foot lands to final mark.
The defense has to get the ball once again. Corey Dillon over the left side. And Dillon wrapped up, goes down at the 36. 2:15 to go. Another timeout called by the Patriots. They have one remaining.
Now, if I was the Patriots, after this play, I'd let the clock run on down to 2 minutes and then save one timeout for your offense. Because they got to stop the Bengals first.
Don't forget, coming up next, the U.S. Open Men's Championship. Leighton Hewitt versus Pete Sampras right here on CBS.
There are 22 guys out there that couldn't be happier that somebody said, "Timeout, Mr. Ref." It is a hot, humid day. They fought through it hard. They're both fighting right down to the wire. You start to get that rubber leg feeling, Brent. You remember those when you started to burn a little bit?
I remember, Coach. And you had mentioned sometimes that's when the injuries happen. We've seen a few of those, and you've seen some big plays given up because of those rubber legs being tired on the defensive side of the ball. You're always happy for any type of timeout, TV or otherwise.
And now Cincinnati decides to call a timeout as John Kitna walks to the sideline.
My guess is there's some disagreement as to what the call should be. It's third down and about 13 or 14 yards. I would not throw the football. Don't stop the clock, knowing you've got a change of possession. That stops the clock. And then you have the 2-minute warning that would stop the clock. So you're really playing into New England's hands. The thing to do is to run the ball right here, hopefully get the first down if you're a Bengal fan. And if you don't, let it run down to 2 minutes.
See, now you sound like a defensive head coach.
I should have been a defensive.
You don't want to go for the first down.
I wasn't very good as an offensive head coach.
You don't want to go for the first down and seal their fate, Coach?
You're not worried about first downs as much as you are stopping that clock. You're going to give them 3 clock stoppages if you throw an incomplete pass.
Yeah, but if you get the first down, the game's going to be over. You got to have some confidence in your offense, right?
I've got more confidence in that defense. They look pretty good.
There you go. I'm just asking. See, I always thought, hey, I don't want our defense on the field at the end of the game. I want to win it.
Let's see. Third down and 14 from the 36. They hand it off to Corey Dillon, and Dillon is wrapped up, taken down at the 33 by Brian Cox. And the clock will run down to 2 minutes and stop.
The fans don't like it, but this gives you a chance now to stop them before the end of the ball game.
2 minutes to go. Bengals ready to punt it away. And welcome back to Paul Brown Stadium. And the New England Patriots will take over at their own 30-yard line. One mistake the officials made today. They didn't wait for us to come back from commercial.
What are they
so instead of an A+, they will receive an A.
You're blaming that on the officials?
It is the officials' problem.
I thought that was you getting a snap.
Oh, yeah, right. Gus Johnson, Brett Jones, Sam White. Patriots have the football at the 31-yard line. Brent, you play for the 49ers. Hurry up time. What goes on here?
Well, I think you maybe take a couple cracks. Troy Brown underneath, and then how about a little David Patton up top? I think this Bengals defense is tired. Let David Patton loose down the field.
First down and 10 from the 31. Drew Bledsoe looking to the sideline, partially deflected, incomplete.
Patriots have one timeout left. That one's going to be saved so that they can throw something deep down the middle, call timeout, and not waste 25 or 30 seconds reassembling.
And they're sticking with that on-the-line style offense. They didn't huddle up. They could have after the incomplete pass.
Just wears the defensive line down.
Here's Bledsoe under pressure. Gets it away. Troy Brown somehow made the catch. However, they're going to call Bledsoe in the grass. The 4th sack of the day.
Matt Light is hurt on the field as well, so that'll stop the...
And I thought Drew Bledsoe got rid of this. And you wonder, is this something that's called in college?
Taquille spikes.
There's spikes. And that clearly was a complete pass.
The rule, if it's one-on-one like that and the quarterback still has the ability to throw the ball, he is not down. If there's 2 of you coming where you're more vulnerable, they will call it earlier.
It wasn't even close, Coach. That was not even close. We see that all the time every week, and the referee maybe just blew the whistle a little early, but that's a huge call. You see Spikes just getting he's still a step or 2 from driving Bledsoe down.
Matt Light is the injured Patriot. second-round pick, 48th overall out of Purdue, was scheduled to start at left tackle today, but Bill Belichick decided at game time to start Grant Williams since this was the rookie's first professional game.
And a lot of injuries happen this way. Joe Andruzzi, the right guard of the New England Patriots, actually rolls up on Matt Light, the left tackle, much to the right of the screen, right over here. Right there. Watch, he's going to get rolled up on right there. Comes underneath and catches his leg.
Yeah, you just don't expect that when you're out on an island blocking a guy. Nobody's even close to you.
Most offensive linemen now wear braces on their knees. That helps them from getting, when they do get hits like that, they're not as extreme. Practice in them, play in them. I've actually clocked guys in a 40-yard dash. It does not slow them down.
But the Patriots right now in a hole. 3rd down, 17 from the 24. They need to go to the 41 for a first down.
When that early whistle killed them, they'd have the ball up 10 yards further and wouldn't be facing this brutal situation.
Bledsoe to pass. Sets up, delivers. It is caught. Bert Emanuel at the 38-yard line. Clock still running. 15-yard gain brings up 4th down and 2.
And now the Patriots are calling a play at the line of scrimmage. It's 4th down. Your whole game is right here.
Well, they lost the timeout when Light was hurt. They had to, inside 2 minutes, they lost their timeout. So there's no timeouts left for the Patriots.
Yeah, and you know, Coach, that was a great point about losing the timeout. I still think you got enough time to huddle those guys up. It's too much of an important call to be at the line of scrimmage, have a chance for miscommunication, get the guys in the huddle, and get up there.
Watch Bert Emanuel now as he comes back on a clutch down. Comes back to find the football. You're not worried about running after the catch. You just want to make sure you get it. Now the Bengals are disputing whether that was a completion or not, and will be reviewed. Dick LeBeau's second appeal today, both in the 4th quarter. You know what? I just blew that. The league will automatically review anything from upstairs. Dick LeBeau does not have to appeal inside 2 minutes of the game.
And that's actually a big advantage for the Patriots. If indeed he did catch that ball, it gives them time to rest, time to huddle up, time to devise a strategy. And let's see if that ball... I mean, it's tough. He's got his shadow going forward, and he does a good job of rolling his shoulder, Coach. And
well, he comes up clean with it. That's good.
And that's the key. And you're taught, you know, with that low ball, roll the shoulder. So even if you are trapping it, nobody can see that you're trapping it. And you come up clean, and it looks like a catch.
Ruled as a catch on the field. Indisputable evidence. Must be the case.
Well, they're going to go for it on 4th down, regardless if it's at the present mark or back where they were at the line of scrimmage before the throw.
And I didn't see an angle that would cause them to overrule what was called on the field right there.
Not what we've seen. You know, the thing about instant replay is a fail-safe. If something major is incorrectly observed, you change it. But if it's a close call, you go with what those officials do. They do a good job. They're right there, whether they're replacement officials or regular NFL officials. I've just often wondered exactly what they're looking at in there. If there's not, you know, like a preview of tonight's shows on CBS. I just think that's it. That's part of the reason they're looking. Make sure they know what time everything starts.
Well, Coach, if indeed it is a catch, what do you call here on 4th and 2? I know you don't do a quarterback sneak.
Not a quarterback sneak, but I wouldn't rule out a run. So the minute 18, you got to get right back up and ground the ball if you run the football.
See if it hits the ground.
Let's go back one more time.
Yes.
You know, it sure did look like it bounced there. I saw Emmanuel's arms down there in that angle. It did look like it caught something down there, and you just can't tell if his arms were underneath, but it did look like a small ricochet.
I wouldn't count on that being the deciding factor, though. It's so close. These officials are going to be very sure hour before they reverse the call. The Patriots are doing the right thing. They've got everybody huddled up. They've got two situations to worry about. Bledsoe's probably already told them what the play is going to be so they can start to think about what they do and what they're going to do on the next play after they make the first down, if they do. If the clock's running, they'll just ground the ball on the next snap.
Now with the regular referees, when they go over to the replay booth, they're supposed to have only 90 seconds to make a decision when they stick their head into the booth. But with the replacement referees, I believe they're giving them some leeway. So here, quite possibly, the call of the game.
After review, the pass is ruled incomplete.
You know what, Coach? I think it's going to go back to that ball just ricocheting what appears to be off the ground. You just can't tell for sure, but right there, you see it bounce right in there. Looks like a little bit of a trap, and I'm sure that's the angle that decided that call. And like you said, it's a fine line, but they felt like it was strong enough to overturn the call, and I can't disagree with them, really.
So that brings up 4th down at 17 from the 24. They need to go to the 41 for a first down. They are Redmond the lone setback. They're on their feet in Cincinnati.
Right off the bat, it looks like they're giving David Patton a little single coverage out here. You've got to get a safety over the top, Coach. I wouldn't just let him take a shot down the field one-on-one. And now there's a safety coming over the top.
I would wager just by the style of the Bengals defense, they're going to bring extra people. They're going to make him throw quick rather than defend.
Yep.
Now Drew Bledsoe will huddle it up once again.
I'm not sure what that delay was. The referee was trying to get the speaker to work, and it wouldn't work to tell us something.
Well, it's tough to make a 17-yard completion if you can't set your feet. And like you said, pressure's probably coming.
So here we go, 4th and 17. Bledsoe rolls, wants to set up. 10, goes down. And once again, it's number 57, Adrian Ross.
Hey, Coach, I like the idea of rolling Drew Bledsoe out on 4th down, but you're rolling him to the left side. That means he has to stop and set his feet and get his arm around. It's too much time to have to expect him to stop. If you're going to roll him out to his right where he can throw on the run. You see him getting ready to stop his feet and plant him, and here comes Ross. Doesn't have time to do it.
Well, David Patton was wide open behind everybody. The Bengals celebrate. The Patriots don't.
And Bledsoe is hurt.
Yeah, let's just hope, from the standpoint of the Patriots, that that's just a slight injury, and he'll be back next week. But David Patton was running a post pattern, 10 or 12 yards down the field, and run to the goal post, the middle of the field on the backside of it. But there was no way that Drew Bledsoe could set up. He was just under too much pressure.
It's just so darn tough to roll a quarterback to his offside and have enough time to stop, set your feet, and throw the ball.
No timeouts remaining for the Patriots. John Kitna in his first start as the quarterback of the Cincinnati Bengals takes a knee. 18 and 15, Kitna in Seattle as a starter.
Think how close this game was. On 4th down, the quarterback sneak, they had to get down on their knees to see if it was a first down or not for the Patriots, which might have made the difference in the game. And then, of course, the completion ruled incomplete in this last drive.
The executive producers of the NFL on CBS, Terry Ewert and Sean McManus. Today's game produced by Steve Shear, directed by Steve Milton. Associate Director Sean Gerchikoff. Broadcast Associate Joel Dukart. The final score, 13 seconds to go. The Cincinnati Bengals open up their season with a win, 23-17 over the New England Patriots. Happy birthday, Dick LeBeau, number 64 today, and the first win of the season. So for Sam Weish and Brent Jones, this is Gus Johnson saying so long from Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati, where the final score is 23-17, Cincinnati over New England. Coming up next, it's the NFL Today. Corey Dillon, 24 carries, 104 yards this afternoon. You've been watching the National Football League on CBS Sports.